It's August 18th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, thejoelpearl.com on Blue Sky, and it's time to get in the weeds. A marvelous Monday. It's getting suddenly chilly in the city of Toronto, but I think we'll be okay. It's gonna get warm again, but a nice couple of days of a little fall type weather doesn't hurt anybody. I'm happy with it. Jeremy Lambert's here, doing everything he can. How you doing, pal?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. You know what? I've decided. Can we? I want to open the show strong here. Okay, you ready?
I don't want to hit a sore spot, but can we talk about herpes? Herpes, herpes, banana, fana, faux herpes, herpes. Oh! Anybody here have herpes? Huh?
Are you trying to tell us something, Joel? Do you have herpes?
It's not me.
Oh, okay.
But at one point, we want to talk about the outbreak.
Sure.
No, I don't want to talk about it. I just saw this. Well, I saw it yesterday, but it was very funny.
I mean, do you want to give the context here before people
Not
are
at
like,
all.
what are they talking about? A herpes outbreak?
Not at all. The Mandy Rose and Tino Sabatelli podcast, they mentioned that during their time there was a herpes outbreak. I believe this is 2021 in NXT. And yeah, that was a thing that definitely, according to them, happened. And if there's one thing that NXT has been all about, it's wrestlers shacking up with each other. This is why you don't dip your pen in the proverbial company herpes.
All right.
Anyway, that's all I wanted to get on it today.
Okay.
I needed an excuse to use that drop, just to use the audio. I think about that song way too often.
I'm not going to comment on the lives of others when it comes to that stuff.
No, it's not
Everybody
for us.
just be safe.
It's just the video came out and I had to use the start. Oh my god. One more time for the
I don't want
friends.
to hit a sore spot, but can we talk about herpes? Herpes, herpes, banana, fana, faux herpes, herpes. Oh! Anybody here have herpes? Huh?
All right. We did it. I got it out of my system.
Okay.
What a busy weekend this was. I was in Ottawa for Friday. I love that. I was over at C4 Wrestling for their Fighting Back show. We'll talk about that. We have Andy Quildan joining us at 11 a.m. Eastern. He is the owner of RevPro. They've got a massive 2-night anniversary show coming up, and of course, Forbidden Doors right around the corner. So there'll be plenty of AEW, ROH, CMLL integration. Everything's there for us to talk about. That'll be 11 a.m. Eastern again. So about a little less than an hour from now. SmackDown didn't end in a DQ, so I guess we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll even
sucked.
Low bar, but at least we celebrate no DQ finish.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Collision. It was a tape show, and Jeremy gave away all the answers, all the spoilers on Friday's show at the end, but it was there. And I haven't watched the TNA show, but I heard it was quite the mess.
You haven't watched the TNA show? Wow, some TNA reviewer you are.
I don't have to review it, so I don't have to worry about it until Thursday. I have to watch it by Thursday when I talk about the TV, but other than that, no, I wasn't watching it live because I was at C4 and I had other stuff going on.
You should watch it to review it on the show, Joel.
Nah.
Professional.
I'll tell you what, Wednesday we'll talk about Emergence.
Why? Who cares about it by Wednesday?
They didn't care about it on Friday. The first couple of matches aired for free on the pre-show.
That ruled. That was so hilarious that they just did not realize that the feed was still running, and so they just aired it on YouTube. They should have honestly just aired it on YouTube anyway. Like, I don't know how many viewers they're doing on TNA Plus, but
you know that Carlos Silva is going to come out today and tweet out like it's available now fully on for free on YouTube.
Probably, but they should just do that anyway for these TNA Plus specials. I can't imagine they're drawing that well on TNA Plus to where it's a worthwhile venture for them to keep doing it. But then, like, what's the selling point of TNA Plus? Just the archive, I guess? Because if you're not getting exclusive pay-per-views, what are you really getting? I think you could have your big 4 pay-per-views on there, but just air everything else on YouTube to try to make it seem like you're doing strong numbers. That's what they did for AAA, and then they're touting, 4 million people watching AAA over the course of the first 24 hours and everything. So that's what they should do for TNA.
just say that they had the most viewership. No one's ever had more viewership. No viewership's been better than us.
Yeah, I mean, no one's gonna like. It's true though, because airing it on YouTube like that, way more people did watch AAA than watch it in the past, where you have to watch a Twitch stream or however they would air it, and there'd be a million production issues and everything. So yeah, way more people watched it on YouTube than ever watched AAA or TripleMania. So it makes sense.
TripleMania was was a good mess, but a different mess. We can get into that.
I think it was a mess. That was a fine show.
It was fine, but it was a mess in terms. If you've been watching AAA for a long time, there were some things that were just missing, and we'll talk about that. But for now, how about we start by leaving a thumbs up on the video? Do you have any pyro for me on a Monday? No. Yeah, feeling good on a Monday. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nope.
It
doesn't work. No.
I know it's got to be a Wednesday, I guess. What do we do? How do we lose that? There you go. It was the smile.
It just takes a while.
The worst.
It gets old and tired. It just takes a while to get going now.
It's those damn M1 MacBooks. You gotta get rid of them. I have an M1 MacBook. Anyway, go ahead, leave a thumbs up there, and also you can subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate that, and donate a super chat. Any amount, get your question or your statement read on the air. We were able to get some money last week to donate to the Canadian Cancer Society. Once we know exactly the amount, we will be telling you and donating and showing it off for the world to see, because we're proud of that. We worked hard last week, and you guys did too, and we appreciate the money that you gave to donate to the Canadian Cancer Society.
Yes, appreciate everybody who sent super chats in last week. We're going to get that money to Canadian Cancer Society, and I know you were at C4, and they raised, what was it, 132 Canadian?
Yeah,
$32,000.
Amazing. 30 plus of thousand of that coming from the 24-hour mystery wrestling match, and then a whole lot more coming from donations through fans, through links, through everything. We'll be adding to that as soon as we tally it up for y'all. It was good stuff. I can talk about C4 real quick if y'all want. There will be some interviews coming to both here and to the main. We got interviews with Bear Bronson and Gabby Forza. They don't do interviews together, so got them together to do an interview. Dr. Bob, one of the commentators over at C4, we got together, chat for a few minutes. Evil Uno, of course, he and I sat down for a nice chat about mystery wrestling, about C4, about Frank Morin, who the show is named for fighting back, and plenty more on that. He and I are also going to sit down, I think, next month for mystery, because at the end of the interview, he was like, "You want to do it again next month in Toronto?" I was like, "Sure, see you there." Hattie, who's a fantastic up-and-coming wrestler out of Uno's camp as well. Hattie was very heavily involved not only at C4 fighting back, but also with mystery wrestling. He's a guy to keep an eye on, not only great wrestler, but also just really intelligent guy, really nice guy. So chat with him was good. Junior Benito, who's a C4 champion. You've seen him around. He's part of the tag team Fresh Air with McCray Martin as well. Myung Jae Lee, who's been on AEW programming quite a bit, just as an extra, and also doing some work in enhancement matches. He was part of the main event as well. He's their underground champion at C4. And Stu Grayson, because of course I got to sit down with Stu. We had a nice chat because he allegedly won the 24-hour match. So him and Junior were the last two in the ring at the end of that 24-hour match. Talked a lot about that. We talk a lot about just the importance of this particular fighting back event, and of course mystery wrestling, and plenty more. Junior Benito dropped it on me. He likes the salsa dance. That's his thing. He loves salsa. So good for him. Yeah, I also like salsa.
Did you ask him to salsa dance?
No, we talked about a big event in Toronto called Salsa on St. Clair, and he's a big fan of that. St. Clair Avenue is where they host a bunch of, they shut the streets down. They do big salsa parties. It's really cool. So yeah, plenty of that coming over to this channel and to the main channel. So keep an eye open and we'll have some fun. The event itself was great. They had over 500 people in the building. Big shout out to C4. They did not have to do as much as they did to give me the hospitality, and they basically gave me run of the place. From the moment I got there, they're like, go anywhere, do anything. If you need people, we got it for you. If you want to grab people, go ahead and do it. No one's going to question, talking to you. And that's what it was. Everyone was very, very kind and very willing to give me their time. I was hilarious when Uno walked in. He had just arrived and he's like, "Hey, are we going to do this?" And I'm like, "Going to do what?" And he's like, "Turn on the camera. Let's go." So stuff like that. It was really appreciated, because a lot of these guys and girls don't have to give me the time, but when they do, it's appreciated. And C4 puts on not only an excellent event, but a very well-run event. this is a particular tough show. I was talking with Mark, who's been on our show. He's the one of the owners of C4. And he was saying, you know, for an event that usually goes long, this is the one event of the year where he always feels bad about going longer, telling people no if they want to like get some stuff in, or if they go long or whatever's happening, because it's a lot of the wrestlers are donating their pay or they're not getting paid and they're just on part of the show because it's a big fundraising event. So again, big shout out to C4, not only for the hospitality, but also putting on a show that made so much money. The wrestling was fantastic. Richard Holiday was there. Danhausen was there. They had great matches on the card as well. Bomb Vertigo, people know about him because he's been up and coming for the last couple of years in and out of Canada. And yeah, just a good, fun show. My buddy Brian Powers, as he's known now, he was there. He's the guitar player from Mystery. He's the guy who comes out, plays guitar with a bunch of different wrestlers, and he's a manager as well. He and I go back 20 years, we discovered. We were coming out of high school together. We were in bands together growing up. The fact that he's gotten into wrestling is hilarious to me because we didn't talk about wrestling when we were kids. Like we kind of knew, but we weren't really talking about being wrestling fans. And the fact that he's training and into it and training with good people really makes my my heart smile. So getting to run into him and others was a really good time. If I saw you there, thanks for saying hi. If I didn't get to see you there, where the hell were you? Which I did. But yeah, the show itself went off really well. And again, shout out to C4. If you're ever in Ottawa or you're looking for something to watch on IWTV, that show and others are available. And go to C4. Go to Ottawa, visit. It's an easy place to navigate. And I think the show drops Tuesday on IWTV for Fighting Back.
Did anybody punch you in the face?
No, nobody offered to take me up on autographs, photos, or punches in the face.
Bunch of cowards in Canada.
I agree. I mean, granted, I had a lot of my time filled doing stuff backstage, so I was out in front at the beginning at different points. And to be honest, when I was able to watch the show, there's a balcony where some of the talent go to watch from, and that's where I was mostly spending my time because I was trying to navigate other things that were going on. So I tried to be as out there with everyone as I could, but it was a little difficult when you're, you know, doing 50 other things at once. But all in all,
punched you.
Somebody should have. The money would have been worth it for someone.
Yeah. And $10, that's it? Just a punch in the face?
Telling you. Could have been worth it for someone, but nobody wanted to take me up on it.
Yeah. Lame.
Next time. And then I turned around and came home. And I got to tell you, I'm a little upset, Jeremy. I was supposed to be at Greektown Wrestling last night, or on Saturday night. I didn't go. I think you froze. The shock on your face just shows exactly how you're feeling.
My internet's been terrible this morning, so this should be great. I don't really know what else I'm supposed to do with it, so we'll see if it kind of fixes itself or I need to make more switches.
You might need to move your microphone closer.
I mean, that's not going to fix my internet, but
well,
sure.
That's true, but it'll make you more audible.
All right.
So I was saying I'm supposed to be at Greektown on Saturday.
Okay.
I didn't go.
Why not?
I didn't go because I was told at the last minute no media was allowed at Greektown.
I wouldn't go either then. I
don't know what happened. I wasn't terribly impressed by that because I was told on Thursday night for a Saturday show, no media, after making it very clear that I was coming in to work. And I was told, yeah, we'll let you know, be okay. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, not doing it. I was like, oh, okay. So it's weird.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll get another shot. But regardless, Gray's asking to Greektown bring back Lesnar. No, there was no one on that card that was like would have been that. I don't know what happened. A lot of the GCW guys and girls were coming from working JCW, working Gathering of the Juggalos. So like that would have been fun to at least talk about with a few of the people. Like I just found out, you know who's going to be here all week, literally all week? Joey Janela.
Good on Joey Janela.
Yeah, like he's going to be for some reason the city of Toronto has let him in, and they have let him stay because he's going to be working he did Greektown. He's going to be working at Lucha, Demand Lucha, and then he's working at the CNE, the X, the Canadian National Exhibition down by the waterfront for Toronto. So he'll be there because there's always wrestling there. But yeah, Janela being around is weird and funny at the same time. I'm gonna find him. We're gonna have a chat on the street.
well, good luck with that. I mean, Joey's always chatty full, so that should be easy chat to have with Joey.
It's true. We'll find him. Yeah, that was my weekend. How was yours? I heard you had a good time.
Where did you hear that from?
The internet, mostly you posting videos from it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I went to Clipse on Saturday, so that was not really a last minute decision because I'd mentioned it before, but then I forgot to buy tickets beforehand, and so it became like Friday night, and I was like, oh right, Clipse are gonna be in town tomorrow. Should I go to this? And then Saturday afternoon, I decided, yeah, I should just go to this. So I did go to Clipse. They were great. Earth Gang was the opener. They were a lot of fun. They're from Atlanta. I don't really know too much about them. They're on the new JIT album. That's like the kind of the first I'd ever heard of them. But they gave a great live performance. And then Clipse was really good. It was a small venue, and it was packed. You know, a few hundred people there, maybe up to 1,000. I don't know. I'm terrible with numbers, but it was a great performance. It's very funny because like Pusha he's very animated. He's into things. He'll interact with the crowd. He's doing like the hype stuff with everything. Malice is just there to rap. He's there to just get his bars in, and he's animated when he's rapping and everything. But Pusha is definitely the guy who's doing like the crowd hype and the crowd interaction. Malice is just like I'm just here. I'm just here to start rapping. So it's great. Yeah, it was a good show though. I'm a Clipse fan. I've been talking about Clipse for ever since the album dropped, even before the album dropped. When they announced the album, we've been talking about Clipse. I've told the story before, but I was supposed to go see Clipse when I was in high school, but the show got canceled, and so I never got to see them. So I was happy that they were close enough to where I was like, yeah, this is worth the drive and to go see them. So yeah, it's a great show. If they're coming to a town near you, I recommend to go check it out. I assume tickets are relatively inexpensive, and it's not like a stadium or even like an arena. Maybe they're coming to some places they'll do a bigger venue, but this was just a small, like, it was not like an amphitheater, but like a theater type place. So, but it was good.
Sounds like a good time. I was surprised that it was not a bigger venue when you said that.
Nah, they're like, Clipse are known and everything, but I didn't think they're not gonna do like an arena.
No, I didn't necessarily expect an arena, but like a few thousand is what I thought.
Yeah, I don't know like what kind of venue they would do for a few thousand. I think there's a couple of different, like there's an outdoor theater around here that could, when you account for like the lawn and everything, you could get a few thousand people there. But they didn't go there. They went to the indoor kind of theater, and it was I'm terrible with how many people are like there. It had to be close to, my wife will probably text me and she's like, it holds like this many people, but it was maybe upwards of 1,000, but that was a really good show. And I haven't been to a venue like that in forever, definitely pre-COVID. I haven't been to a venue like that since pre-COVID. Every concert that I've gone to, one was an outdoor amphitheater, obviously that's open space. The other was the festival, that was all outdoor, but that's big open area. Kendrick was stadium. Everything else was pre-COVID, but even then it was arena, stadium when I went to see like Taylor. But yeah, otherwise I haven't been to a venue like that in a very long time. So it was cool just to be in like a packed venue with that. They did do grinding. They did do What Happened to That Boy. Yes. They did grinding in the middle, What Happened to That Boy was the first throwback that they did. Because they started with what'd they start with? Chains and Whips. And then they did POV. And then they went into What Happened to That Boy. So that was the first throwback. Grinding was in the middle. Then they closed with Birds Don't Sing, but then they did an encore and did Cop Dam, and what else did they do after? I forgot what they did after Cop Dam, But then the actual close was by the grace of God. That was the actual closer.
Sounds like it was a good show then. Sounds like
they did. I mean, the whole album's only like 45 minutes, so the show wasn't even like that long because again, the new album's only like 40 something minutes. You're cutting out Kendrick's verse, you're cutting out Tyler's verse, so you're taking off some there. They didn't do every song from the album, but they did most of them. And yeah, then they did some throwbacks and everything. But overall, yeah, really good show.
Oh, the theater they played at was a 2,000 capacity theater. So you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah, but the ballroom, my wife is telling me the ballroom only holds 500. That's where they were. They were the ballroom.
Oh, they're in the ballroom. Okay, then. Oh, interesting. Well, it is what it is. But I'm glad that you had fun. I'm glad.
Maybe she says I was in the theater. I don't know. No, there was maybe like 1,000 people or so there. It was a good number of people though. It was good.
Yeah, you had fun. It was a good show. That's all that really matters. Yeah. I'm fine with that.
I don't care how many people were there. I was there and I had fun.
That's all that mattered. Shall we hit a couple super chat? Well, we'll hit one super chat. Got your finger on the button?
Yeah.
Volib sends a super chat saying, Vanilla Fumble.
I'm Vanilla, baby.
Is what we call the original thumbnail for this episode. We'll get to that in a second. But I'm an Homo sapien who says no to homophobia, so I'm happy about it. We were all Homo sapiens on Saturday, and we were all a little upset too. Jeremy, it wasn't a thumbnail. I just posted it on our Discord specifically for our pal Volib. It happened again.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. The return of the fumble, baby. That high-low, though, he took it like a champ. Good on Blake
Christian's great.
He is.
He rules.
Should we do AAA? Is it TripleMania? TripleMania? I thought it was a good show. It was very different from what you would normally see from AAA in the past. That's my problem with it. And it's not a problem.
Yeah, there was no production issues. And
production issues are the best part.
Conan going off of, just Conan going off on weird tangents and everything. Vampiro wasn't there.
That's true. Hit my music. Tell me to hit my music.
Not my TripleMania.
There were little things that, yes, those little hiccups and upset parts were done. That's fine. What I wanted was, I don't know what I wanted. I just there was something that was weird about the show. And maybe it was that it was a little too polished for Mexico standards. One thing that really glaringly stood out to me was, first of all, the music. Oh my God. I get that they're not going to do the copyright music because they do anything in Mexico and they just don't care. But because of WWE, because they're doing it on their YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Like they just threw together some music. That part was upsetting, wholly upsetting. And it wasn't even that they weren't using the copyright music. It's that the music was just shit. It was just not good. Henry saying no ads on the screens. There were ads on the screens. They just weren't as glaring. Normally they have the big yellow bardal, and that takes away from everything. This time it was a more muted, like dark green. They made it so that the ads were still there, but they weren't so in your face. And no more six-sided ring. That's done. They went to traditional 4, and the street fight. So the finish. No one's talking about this. The barbed wire that was very clearly like rubber bands that were just made into a barbed wire looking piece of barbed wire. Like it looked fake. That was what upset me. It looked like fake barbed wire. Like you see them wrapping it. There's no care. It was just very poorly executed, which I guess Mexico sometimes it is that. Again, the show, the lucha was fine. It was good. Whole lot of WWE integration, which you would expect. But overall fun show. Obviously, people talking about the big moments. That's the return of Omos into the Copa Bardal, and then Microman and Omos having their face off. And of course, that gets numbers, because who doesn't want to see David versus Goliath? And if David were like 3'2". It was entertaining. That's what they wanted. They got what they wanted, entertainment. But overall, the show was good. Now they're going to do Worlds Collide in September, and they'll tease another Mega Championship change, because it'll be the El Hijo de Vikingo versus Dominic Mysterio. Looks like that's a one-on-one match coming up, because in the four-way, not only did all of the El Grandes Americano show up, but so did our pal AJ Styles. The came out and took out Dominic Mysterio, so that's still going. Sure. We're going to talk about the puppets too.
I mean, Finn Balor and Dimanito ate Layezga.
Well, put it in his mouth. I don't know if he took a bite.
I mean,
it's kind of like when dogs pick up their young,
mm,
do it by the nape of the neck. I think it was that.
Kind of ate Layezga there.
That's true. What do you think of the? Are you going to shell out $100 for that Dominico?
No.
Demonico? Dominico is where they go afterwards.
Why are you
You're talking about Dominic Mysterio.
No. Demonito.
Demonito. It's not Demonico?
No. Demonito.
Demonito.
Come on now. I thought it was a fun show. Like, yeah, it didn't have the charm of a typical TripleMania show, which basically means it wasn't a complete train wreck production wise. You know, there was no Luchas de Apuestas match, no mask versus hair match or anything like that, that you typically expect. It was definitely WWE-fied, and Triple H said as much. I don't know if you saw that like behind the scenes video he posted, but he was like, Worlds Collide was a joint venture. This is now like WWE. And you know, this is day one. TripleMania is day one of WWE AAA until, you know, Worlds Collide. The next one is day two. They can't. Why are they doing two shows named Worlds Collide this year? That's dumb. They got to come up with a different name. For
Same reason that they've cashed in on the TripleMania IP. They've done multiple Triples Mania.
Yeah, but that's at least, you know, TripleMania, and then it's like Regia and wherever else they go. I don't remember where else they go, but I don't like that they're doing just another Worlds Collide name. Come up with a better name. Anyway, and is it still like AAA WWE Worlds Collide? Like, just call it AAA Worlds Collide. We know there's going to be WWE talent on there. You don't need to. I know the WWE name they want to put on there. Like, see, it's a WWE event. Anyway, yeah, it didn't have the charm that TripleMania used to have, or that we're used to from it. It felt like a WWE produced show, which is what they want. So I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing, because those TripleMania shows were a disaster in a lot of ways, and they were hilarious.
God bless.
But they weren't, you know, unless you're Lucha Blog watching every single AAA event, you'd watch those shows and you'd probably get turned off. Like, this is just, there's not too much redeeming stuff on this show. But then you watch the next TripleMania because it's like, oh, is JBL going to show up to this thing? So there would be like some surprises and everything. It was a WWE show with, you know, AAA talent. That's what it was. Just more WWE shows. But I thought it was good overall. You know, Otis coming back, Omos. The Omos and Microman stuff was just peak pro wrestling. Omos he's gonna make a killing in AAA.
It's massive in Mexico, baby.
Yeah, he's
big in Japan and massive in Mexico.
He's gonna do great in AAA. You know, the women's title match was fine. Maybe a little surprised Natalya didn't win, just because I expect all the WWE talent to win. Los Garza actually did lose the tag team titles, so the AAA talent kind of came out ahead on this thing, because Vikingo retained as well.
But that's also because they're part of WWE.
Yes.
When it's TNA, they're not part of WWE, so they can keep it. they can have the AAA talent win because they are under WWE's umbrella. TNA.
Yeah, but even then, they would still just put WWE talent over because it's WWE talent, and they're just gonna put them over. Yeah, it is a big difference of like AAA is owned by WWE, whereas TNA is just partners with WWE. But that hasn't stopped them from doing this stuff in the past.
Yeah, I saw the quotes from what's his face from Triple H. Oh, it's so in your face GFY. Worlds Collide showed people that it would be authentic and the lucha that they love. I felt like it was just the start. Realistically, it was. It wasn't our promotion. It was a joint promotion. This is us. This is now WWE. While sometimes an event like TripleMania can feel like the end of a run, like a Super Bowl or the finals, it really is the start. This is day one. Buddy, I liked Worlds Collide better because it was authentically lucha. Or at least more authentically lucha than TripleMania. Like whatever this was, it was because, again, I think the fact that he does the joint promotion and then says this is us now, it's like, we can tell what the promotion or what the production was like from one show to the other. Worlds Collide, you go back, it was a little more dimly lit. It was a little more kind of not rock and roll or anything like that, but it was you can go back and see the production. It's different. They definitely put more into what they did on Saturday from a production standpoint than what they did at Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide felt like an NXT takeover type of presentation.
Okay, I can give you that. It was still a WWE produced event, though. It still didn't have the AAA charm of things. That's just out the window. We're just probably not gonna see that anymore with the hampered by production and confusion and wrestlers just doing dumb shit for the sake of doing dumb shit. Like, you're just not gonna see that anymore out of AAA. Like, Worlds Collide felt just as much as a WWE event. I'll grant you that, yeah, maybe it felt more like a old NXT takeover type of an event, but I think it felt that way in part because just we weren't used to seeing so many of these wrestlers as well. And Worlds Collide wasn't any more authentic AAA as TripleMania was. Honestly, they were about the same to me. Maybe the lighting was different, but everything else was like, oh yeah, this is just a WWE event.
There was a comment from Greg Carter. Not enough Maricela Pena cut twos. You could tell she wasn't hugging all of the champions. She wasn't, being the motherly figure, the matronly figure at the beginning and end of matches. Missed out, baby. Missed out. Was the urn there? I missed the very, very beginning.
I don't remember seeing it.
Was Antonio Pena's urn there? It usually is. I mean, maybe the Undertaker was there and he thought that was that was Paul.
But it might have been. I just don't remember seeing it.
Could have been. I could always go back and look if I really wanted to. But yeah, like you said, the show was fine. Show was a AAA production, or sorry, WWE production, and yeah, we got through it. And so the show Worlds Collide is on the 12th of September, which is a Friday. So I'm guessing it's gonna, and because it's in Vegas,
SmackDown?
It'll be after SmackDown because they're in Vegas.
Fuck that.
So it's gonna start at 11 p.m. I have to guess. Whoever did the social post wrote that it's on the 13th, but the poster clearly says the 12th.
Social post for who?
On our team. Oh. So I'm almost certain that it's the WWE's post that should be listened to in this case. They're in Norfolk, Virginia for SmackDown. Wow. So I guess they'll just go from one show to the next. I have to assume that because SmackDown ends 10 o'clock, like clock. Well, do they do it? They don't usually do an overrun.
No, SmackDown doesn't have overrun, not on USA Network.
So instead it'll be a post show to watch from SmackDown. So have fun.
Yeah, it does say 10 p.m. Eastern.
For the people of Las Vegas and the West Coast.
That sucks.
I mean, in fairness, it's an hour later than TripleMania because that started at 9.
Okay, that sucked too. That just started at 8.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. The Canelo and Crawford match is the next day in Vegas. So I guess
that's why they're trying to do this.
That makes a little more sense.
Just do it on Sunday.
After you've left town, come to a wrestling match.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to piggyback off of. Oh, that makes more sense. That still sucks.
Do you think a lot of wrestling fans are going to go to this boxing match? I know they're pushing it hard. I just
Yes.
wonder what the crossover will look like.
I think there's going to be a decent crossover. Crawford and Canelo are like legit draws. They ain't just two people that it's like, all right, we've never heard of these people before. Canelo especially is a huge that's the other thing is like Canelo draws the Mexican audience in there. So that's the other thing of doing Worlds Collide is like you're gonna have a lot of that ethnicity there to where, oh hey, come check out this WWE Lucha show the night before. I think that's part of it as well because Canelo's gonna draw his fans there. So I understand why they're doing it. That makes a whole lot more sense of why it's in Vegas to piggyback off of Canelo and Crawford and why it's this particular event in Vegas to piggyback off of Canelo. Yeah, wrestling fans they'll check out Crawford and Canelo. I mean, I don't know what the crossover is, but big time boxing fights still draw like good numbers. And this legitimately this is one of the biggest fights in, I don't know about history, but certainly one of the biggest fights in the past few years since the days of Mayweather at his peak and everything. Canelo's still a draw. Crawford might be the best pound for pound boxer right now. So like outside of big time heavyweight fights, it ain't getting too much bigger than this fight.
I won't be watching just because I don't care much for boxing either, because it's not fake like the wrestling. Much
Right.
prefer that.
Sure.
But if I want to watch people get punched in the face, I can just go outside.
Canelo and Crawford might be like ringside for this event. I don't know because
It's the night before. I don't think they usually try to bring people out like that.
that's the thing. It just depends on like what they want to do because you don't want to fuck up a boxer's routine when it comes to this stuff. Like, hey, go do this media appearance and sit front row the night before your fight. Like a lot of times, like they just may want to chill. They just went through the weight cut. They're getting enough to weigh in on Friday. They probably want to eat a bunch of food to get their weight up and everything. So I don't know if like sitting front row at this event is a thing that they'll be up for. We know Crawford is a wrestling fan. He was at the show earlier this year laying out Austin Theory and everything. So Crawford might be like, yeah, that sounds like a cool deal. And look, if TKO pays him enough, then they might show up. But they're gonna obviously heavily push the show. They'll probably show like the weigh-in and everything. They'll probably show a bunch of stuff during the show. I don't know if they'll be there though, just because it could screw up the routine for them. And if they don't want to screw up the routine, like they're not gonna be like, go do this. Like they want the fight to be good, not go make this front row media appearance at Worlds Collide.
Hear me out. At Worlds Collide, that's where they do the weigh-in. In the ring.
In the ring?
In the ring.
Yeah. They usually weigh in like the morning of though, so
good. Let them get fat and then come to the show, and then they go weigh in.
They could do like the ceremonial weigh in during that. That's what they would. They would. That's what they do in UFC now. Like they weigh in at like 10 in the morning, but then they still have the weigh in the arena in front of fans at like 5. When they're already like that's not their weight anymore. Like, oh, so and so is 185, and they're definitely like 195 by the time they step on that scale because they already hit 185 like 12 hours ago.
Yeah, they don't want to show you the earlier today when so and so almost passed out because they were trying to make weight at the last minute and hadn't drank in 24 hours. Yeah, like had any water in their body. Yeah, they don't want to show you that. They want to show you, oh, look how ready they are to fight. Oh my goodness. Someone's saying in the chat, Henry saying boxing's fake too. It is, and I said it is, but it's mob fixed. That's way different. Mob fixed means you can't get a cut if you try. You want wrestling fake, where you can get in on it if you just know how to read the tea leaves and talk to people. That's all. Or if you get backstage and see a big piece of paper with the rundown. That's how you do it. I think Triple H makes tons of money on betting on wrestling.
What?
I don't know. The first thing I think of whenever people talk about betting on pro wrestling is like how many of these guys use a proxy to go and bet on their show and just make some more money on the show because they book it? That's the first thing I thought about when pro wrestling was introduced into the to that, to the the betting sites.
Okay. I
just thought, I was just thinking about it.
That's a good turn. We'll ask Andy. Do you bet on the matches?
Do you bet on your own promotion? I don't know. I just think more people should be thinking about this. If wrestling is as skeezy as people like to say it is, then it seems obvious to me that someone would do that.
Would they do that though?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh.
The first thing I thought of was like, maybe it wasn't even me. I think I've heard others say it too, but like the first thing I thought of was like Bruce. Was like, who would he like call someone and just be like, all right, you're gonna bet on this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, and put it under the name Salt McTaffy. I don't know. It's just the way I would do it if I were in their shoes.
I mean, fair. I get that. So yeah.
You never know. I'm just throwing it out there. We got 15 minutes until Andy Quildan from RevPro joins us. That's at 11 a.m. So yeah, let's get on to this. You want to talk SmackDown for 15 minutes because that's all we really need to talk it for.
No.
Sammy's on the show now. He wants the U.S. title because he couldn't win the world. Big old loser, Sami Zayn. He's now
Wasn't he gonna get a shot at the world title if he went to SmackDown?
Only if he went to SmackDown at Paul Heyman's behest. But because he said no, the deal wasn't pulled through.
Yeah, Sammy got dorked out here.
Yeah, Sammy looks like a big old bitch.
He just decided to go to SmackDown later on. I know people are trying to like theorize that, Cross was right about Sammy. He didn't put his morality first, or he did put his morality first previously, but now he goes to SmackDown. See, he's actually this conniving, underhanded person. And I'm like, you're trying to piece this together, but I don't know if they're piecing this together. This just felt like Sammy's on SmackDown because Sammy's on SmackDown, and it has nothing to do with Karrion Kross. Again, I respect that Kross does these interviews and tries to give some more meat to these stories and tries to thread a lot of these stories together. WWE hasn't acknowledged any of that stuff. They haven't done any of that. Like, what has AJ Styles changed because he was in a feud with Karrion Kross? Like,
his hair.
He's still traveling to different countries to beat the people he doesn't like, or to ensure that they get screwed over. But yeah, Kross and Kross fans are trying to like make it seem like Kross had some type of influence on Sammy and going to SmackDown. But I think the reality is they just decided to put Sammy on SmackDown because SmackDown needs a little bit of help, and they took LA Knight off of SmackDown and put him on Raw, so it makes sense to bring back another popular babyface to put them on SmackDown. But hey, if you want to piece it together and do your own headcanon on why this all happened, more power to you. Just don't be shocked when they don't acknowledge it and people aren't buying your how'd I get a thumbs up on that?
I don't know. Maybe they liked what you were saying.
It's a great idea. Yeah. And my screen is so now like we're gonna give Jeremy a thumbs up on all his great ideas. Be a lot of thumbs up. Yeah, don't be surprised if they don't acknowledge any of that stuff on screen.
No, there's no reason to for them. All they got to do is the LA Knight, appearing on Raw, and that's it. They'll be like, well, 1 for 1. So Sami Zayn is going to be on SmackDown, and look how excited.
That's at least fine. If they do say, yeah, we did the trade and to make this happen, because otherwise it just looks like LA Knight went to Raw and Sammy went to SmackDown. Like, that's fine if they do. Hey, we made a trade. I'm talking about like the Kross stuff and Sammy acting like, he went to SmackDown because he wanted to go after the US title.
I love that people in the chat are coming up with ideas for different Triple H, different Triple H betting names he would have. His usernames: King of Kings 316, better than Vince 69,
I feel like a lot of these were like
Cerebral
taken
Assassin 420,
already.
DX for life, Blue Blood XD. This rules.
What was your AOL screen name, Joel? Did you have a wrestling related screen name?
Yeah, it was Canadian Impact Player. Really like the Impact players in
Was it really?
in ECW, yeah. Hell yeah, baby.
I had a friend whose was
Lance Storm fan.
I had a friend whose was Raw is Jericho 6316. That was theirs. I didn't do anything wrestling related. Mine were hockey related. So yeah.
That's the one. I'm better than The Rock, but it has the numbers. Triple Elite. That's what he's gonna be.
Triple Elite. Yeah, I didn't have a wrestling related screen name. Mine were hockey.
Oh, I know what
related.
yours was. Yeah, I remember because it was the same as your Skype one.
Yeah,
Or similar to it.
yeah, Ampline for life. That was a hockey reference. I didn't do a wrestling screen name. If I did, it was probably something like SCSA, but whatever, because
What?
X316 or something was probably it. I feel like I had something like that, but my memory doesn't work that well to actually recall the actual like beat for beat screen name that I had.
Paul not Levesque. That's his online booking. Moniker. Not Paul Levesque.
14 times champ DX.
Yeah, 14x champ DX. Right,
Brian towards these nuts. That's good.
Oh man. There you go. That's how you get away with it. You just think of the most ridiculous names and you bet on the wrestling that you book, but you send a proxy. Telling you, man, there's a big possibility that these people are doing it. I'm gonna blow the roof off of it. Oh man. So yeah, Sammy's part of the US title scene. Sure. I'm not surprised. They've been doing the MFT and Sammy problem for the last few weeks, so just moving him over is fine. LA Knight going after the world title. It's like they switched. Because remember, Sammy wanted to go for the world title, and then LA Knight was suddenly like, I'm going for the world title after he, beat Seth. So at Saturday night's main event. So it's just very funny watching them kind of switch sides for now. And like, I don't think Sammy loses anything from this, because if the point is to build him up to get to the Rumble next year, or just to get him to whatever WrestleMania payout is for him, then you got to do something with him for now. You can't just keep him at the front of the show as a world title contender the whole time. Like you kind of have to ebb and flow with him a little bit. So for me, it's like, okay, at least he's still on the show. At least he's still in a semi-prominent position. And like Solo Sikoa is one of the leaders of the SmackDown show when Cody isn't there. Like when the Cody story is not there, Solo kind of takes over. And we saw that this week. Granted, most people kind of felt like SmackDown was a bit of a phone-in this week, but he was still part of it. It was more about the U.S. title than anything else. So I like that Sammy's there, and we'll let the show kind of go. I don't think it's like amazing TV. We're still stuck in Bloodline mode. It's now just like the Bloodline spinoff, which is very funny. It's like watching Maude, but it's Joey. Think of the spinoff you want that was bad and go for it. That's it.
Yeah. SmackDown was so skippable.
It was.
All right. These matches at least they didn't end the show on a DQ. High marks for that, but the Drew promo was fine. But you didn't have Cody, you didn't have Cena. It was based on Solo and Sammy. Use the hashtag Joel is wrong because he thought Logan Paul was going to do the entrance thing. And I correctly pointed out Logan Paul was getting married.
So instead they showed you a video. Okay. And Nikki Cross was all over. The White Six were everywhere. Nikki Cross was in the background of the Kiana James and Tiffany
Julia
Stratton.
would have to be on the show.
She would have had to be on the show. No, Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton. During that segment, she was kind of a reflection of her in the background of the truck just kind of dancing around. It was kind of cool. And then at the end of the tag team stuff, I think with Mello, Miz, and the Motor City Machine Guns, all of a sudden in the background, whoever's got the bunny head on, I can't remember if it's Redwood or Loomis, whichever one that was, kind of approaches with it's Redwood, it's Eric, because he had the hammer. So he kind of appears in the background. So there was like the truck with the Uncle Howdy, and people were kind of pointing that out. They just had them all over the show for whatever reason.
Yeah, they love that background nonsense. Like, oh, look at this. We get it. There's stuff going on in the background. Okay. Mello and Miz is like fine. At least it's leading to something now, and you can see where it's going. It should have happened earlier, but Miz was off television for a couple of months, so they just couldn't go anywhere with it. And then instead of like doing Mello as a singles run, which actually would have been better story, is if like Mello was doing a singles run and like maybe he didn't win a title, but he was like picking up some victories and picking up momentum. And then Miz comes in and is like, no, you're a tag team guy, and like, yeah, you won a bunch of matches, but like you didn't win a title or anything. Like we're still Mello don't Miz, and then you tell it from there. Instead, it's just been Mello's been off TV and he's like, I want an opportunity at a singles title, and he hasn't actually done anything to get that opportunity, and so Miz is still doing the tag team things. I don't mind the story. They just kind of misplayed it as far as what they were doing with Mello, which was nothing the entire time Miz was gone, when they could have been giving him some victories and some momentum. And instead it was, he was off TV and now he wants opportunities, but he's still getting them with the tag team. It's just he wants singles opportunities.
Yeah. Miz and Mello's weird. That's really what it comes down to. They just keep, I don't know, it's like Miz is going to use it to gaslight, and then Carmelo will eventually either turn babyface from it or take out Miz and then continue as a heel and be like, I dropped that dead weight and now I want Sammy's US title. I don't subscribe to the Mello's getting buried mentality, because while you could take someone and push them right to the top right away, I think Mello's one of those guys that they really want to have him around long term with a lot of different stories you can pull to or point to as like, he showed up, he did this. Now, do I think that they're doing the best job at spotlighting those stories? No. I think bringing him in and making him like the cocky guy who wanted to take out Cody on his first night, that had some wings, and then he's been on the downswing. He's been on the downswing ever since. The Miz stuff is gonna play out kindly in his history if he becomes a big star, but they gotta hit it first. That being, they need to, whatever the payoff with the Miz story is that makes him into something, that's what they need to hit, hit a home run with. So I'm not as down as people have been about Mello. I just am kind of hopelessly optimistic that something will get told with his story, because maybe they do see him as a world title contender, but they're not going to see it now. They're going to see it in a few years when they inevitably find it's his time. As long as he doesn't get himself over on his own, he's got to do it by way of the company line. So I don't know. I think Mello's being a good soldier, which honestly is what they want, and what that does for him is, well, the time will tell. It's frustrating for someone like that, but I understand why you'd want to follow that mentality.
Yeah, hopefully it leads to something more sustainable for him.
Yes,
but at least right now he's on TV, and if he does turn babyface, and hopefully you get something out of that with him. He should have been better positioned leading all into this. I mean, if you want to say the draft matters, which it doesn't for a number of reasons, but if you want to say the draft matters, like, this dude was the third pick in the draft, and then you did nothing with him after that. It makes the draft look very stupid of, we made him our third pick and then decided we weren't going to use him at all. What's the point of when these guys drafted and where they were drafted? There is none, because again, the draft doesn't actually matter.
No.
But this is where you could actually make it mean something. They just don't care to put it into anything.
It's like using the ranking system in AEW, right? They used it when it mattered, and then they got away with it. They brought it up. They brought it back one time, and then they were like, "All right, we're done with this." That's kind of what WWE is doing here with the draft stuff at the time with Melo. Brought him in, they're like, "Oh no, he's the guy," and then he wasn't because he was a big failure of a draft pick. That's
they've
story
always,
they started but then dropped.
They've always been terrible at the draft for a number of reasons.
That's true. Although, you know what? I'll contend that working with Miz is not the death knell that some people like to pretend it is.
No.
Like, he's a very popular character. He's a long-term star in WWE. He's very well known. And like, Miz is entertaining. He's not the best wrestler, but he is a very like complete character package for WWE. So for that, I'm like, Melo's kind of in a great place because for longevity, if he learns from someone like Miz, there is a place for him. So again, it all comes down to what he thinks his, ceiling or his appreciation for what he's doing. It comes down to what that is for Melo and what he wants.
There are far worse positions to be in than working with Miz, like not being on television at all like he was for months. I don't have an issue with him working with Miz. I know a lot of people are like, why is he working with Miz? This is a waste of time. It's like, well, it's getting on TV. You just hope it actually leads to something, and it could have been better positioned when they did get back together instead of him just being off TV. And the fear is still, it doesn't actually lead to anything because sometimes things don't lead to anything when they should.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Charlotte stuff. Charlotte and Alexa. Lexi had a match against Piper Niven, got the win. My favorite part was seeing Charlotte come out. And when they're going down the ramp, she's only greeting the kids at ringside, like going out of her way to only say hello and like slap the kids' hands, but all the grown-ups, she's like, get away. It was very funny. And then when they did the beatdown, so I noticed this, she's wearing really tall like boots with really high boots to your ankle or to your knee, and those were gone by the time the match ended because she had to come in and do her spots. And I was like, why don't you just wear shoes that are going to be more comfortable if you know you're going to get active in the ring? Why would you go through having to take off your shoes just to do all of this? Good for you, Charlotte. Good for you. And the match was fine. The story with, Charlotte and Alexa taking on the Secret Hervis and Chelsea Green is something there. Chelsea's hilarious. And I think that Piper and Alba Fire, they're doing some good work. It's fun.
It's a fine feud until they get some other challengers for Charlotte and Alexa, because Piper and Alba Fire ain't gonna be the ones to dethrone them. They need something on this SmackDown women's side. Nia Jax being like, I want another title. What? You have failed to win this title like 5 times now.
Yeah, but she beat Lash. That's what got her here.
Just stop it. And then Jade in a backstage segment, Tiffany in a backstage segment. They are just treading water until Bianca gets cleared. And then once Bianca gets cleared, I think she's going to take that title in about 2 seconds from Tiffany, so they can start to reignite this women's division. Like, SmackDown needs something on the women's side, because when you have Charlotte and Alexa as tag team champions, which is fine, that means they're not in the main title picture, though. So you're hurting for star power there when 2 of your top talents are doing stuff elsewhere. And then you don't have a whole lot after that. Like, there just ain't that many people to go with. That's why they're going back to Nia.
And King of the Hill.
Sure.
I loved that they had the King of the Hill on the mat. They didn't do anything with it. They just had it there.
Yeah, somebody should have used a propane tank or something,
That's right. But they needed to debut a new wrestler named Propane.
Yeah.
I tell you what. Anyway, our guest is here. When he's ready, he can give us a thumbs up and we can bring him on in. Oh, of course. Everyone's always ready when they start this. I love it. I appreciate it. It is good. We love it when people show up and they're ready to go. So right now, we're ready to introduce you, bring on our guest, the owner of RevPro. They have a 2-night, 13-year anniversary event coming in London. It's going to be Friday the 22nd and Saturday the 23rd of August. We welcome now, once again, the owner of RevPro, Andy Quildan. Good morning. I guess it's afternoon for you.
Yeah, it is after. It's nearly home time. So, I'm excited about going home.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very good, well as can be expected. You can see from my kind of crazy hair and the beard that's going on. Not my freshest, but it's kind of what happens as we kind of lead up to the big shows, and we seem to be having more and more big shows as we go along. But we're surviving, and we're taking it one day at a time.
Well,
Go ahead.
Joel.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
Oh, talk to us about the decision to do a 2-night anniversary event this year compared to the typical one night.
So this year basically we made life a little bit hard for ourselves by being a little bit too good, really. The last couple of years, we've run the Copper Box Arena, and we've put on these huge shows. We've got our record attendance a couple of years ago. We came very close last year as well to it as well, which was kind of equally as impressive, considering that. Look, there's no secret that we're putting these shows on around the AEW UK weekends. And obviously there was a lot less fans at Wembley last year, which kind of I think makes it equally impressive that we were able to get pretty much the same number of people last year. But people have come to expect these huge shows, these super shows, for lack of a better term. And quite frankly, economically speaking, it's almost impossible to do in one night unless you've got a venue the size of the Copper Box, but unfortunately we couldn't get any availability of a venue of that size for this year, so the decision was made to essentially go big or go home, and to kind of run 2 nights at Crystal Palace National Sports Centre, which has got a 2,500 seat capacity, and essentially produce 2 huge shows and kind of use the economics that come with being able to kind of put the production in to one space for 2 nights, opposed to kind of bringing it in for 1 night. So it was a bit of a wrestling business decision more than anything. But what it also does is it enables us time to highlight everyone on our roster, make sure that everyone's got time to shine, and it's enabled us to focus on our key stories going into it in greater depth, and as well we've added a little bit of spark. We've mixed it up a little bit by making the first night a Global Wars UK show, which will be a collaboration between CMLL, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and of course ourselves at Revolution Pro Wrestling, which is like essentially a nod to the history of RevPro and the fact that we're synonymous with all these dream matches over the years. So we're going to have a night of dream matches to kickstart our birthday celebrations.
So when you're putting together a show like Global Wars, working with a bunch of partners that you've been talking about, what's the experience like? And was there any match that you really wanted to put together for the show that maybe couldn't have been done, or that you want to do maybe next time?
Is chaos. It's always chaos. The key match I wanted to put together was Jay Joshua versus Tomohiro Ishii. I felt that was, for me, something that I really wanted to do. Jay Joshua felt very strongly about wanting that match, and I feel like as a part of the next part of Jay Joshua's development as a professional wrestler, to be able to be showcased in a match like that will help him announce his arrival to the wrestling world, but it also will give him so many valuable lessons that you can only really get from experience. And this is going to be a huge night for him. So to me, that was a key one that I kind of wanted to make sure we got over the line. But as far as everything else, look, I feel like we're spoilt for choice. And I feel like over the years, if you look at the Global Wars UK cards over the years, we're spoilt for choice. We look at the very first Global Wars UK show, and we had Jushin Thunder Liger versus AJ Styles in the only ever meeting between the pair. Of course, that was also where Will Ospreay met Kazuchika Okada for the first time, and essentially booked his plane ticket to New Japan Pro Wrestling. So it's all about creating unique first-time matchups, and whetting the fans' appetite, introducing them, the worldwide fan base to some new wrestlers. And it, like I say, it really is a collaboration. It's obviously always chaos, because, I feel very fortunate. Because when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, you look at Revolution Pro Wrestling, we are an independent wrestling promotion. We're a small independent wrestling promotion, very much DIY pro wrestling. But we have the respect of these global wrestling organizations, which are quite frankly huge in comparison to us. So we recognize our place, but we know as well as they do that we kind of we try to do our best for professional wrestling in general. And I feel like everyone working alongside each other, it's a mutually beneficial relationship, and I feel that the collaborations over the years have proven that, and yeah, we're always looking to do whatever we can to take it to the next level.
You mentioned collaborating with different promotions, but one wrestler you collaborate with, Mercedes Moné, the reigning RevPro Undisputed British Women's Champion. We're going to ask straight up, does Mercedes Moné have creative control in RevPro?
It's great, isn't it? So Mercedes Moné has as much creative control as any wrestler in Revolution Pro Wrestling, right?
So they all do. I knew it.
But yeah, right, that's it, right? But I just find it's crazy the narrative that people create and around all these wrestlers and everything. Look, quite frankly, look. Reality is of this situation, the only reason Mercedes is in Revolution Pro Wrestling is because she wants to be in Revolution Pro Wrestling. She doesn't have to do anything she doesn't want to do. She's not contracted to be there. So it's the same as any other wrestler. Like I say, we're an independent professional wrestling organization, which means that no one who works for us is contracted. No one has to do anything that we say. Everything is a collaboration. That word again, that collaboration. So, you know, we work together to create scenarios that work for everyone involved. And it's and that's what I think that's what makes Revolution Pro Wrestling so special, because it's not so obviously I have a vision. I know what we want to kind of get over the line, but like it is very much a creative process. And when you can and no more so than I say, for example, if you look at WWE, they've got a writer's room with God knows how many people in that writer's room. Basically, the collaboration, instead of going to a load of people who aren't kind of ultimately involved with the outcome, the collaboration is between myself and the talents. So we get first-hand ideas and first-hand collaboration from the talents. And I think that gives the talents a sense of ownership over what they're doing. And that just makes it all the more special for them. Because we all got involved in pro wrestling because we love this business. I mean, I always say this, it's not something that anyone really gets into. You don't go to a careers day and, you know, they say, how about you get in the pro wrestling business? Right, that doesn't happen, does it? Right, so we all get into wrestling because we're fans of professional wrestling. So when we get the opportunity to create and use our imaginations and tap into our fandom, that's when the most positive stuff happens, and that's why there's such a positive energy around RevPro and everything that we're doing. And that's why I genuinely believe we have one of the most fun and motivated locker rooms in the industry. And I think that's so much of that is down to the collaboration between, I guess, myself and the talent, and the ownership that the talent is able to take over their own stuff.
Speaking of collaboration, you mentioned Will Ospreay effectively punching his ticket back in the day to New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's since found his way back to Rev Pro in little way, shapes, and form, including producing some matches last year. Talk to me about that coming together, and is there maybe plans to have Will involved in this year backstage?
So basically, Will's like always welcome at Revolution Pro Wrestling. It's a home for him, and obviously he will outwardly say that. And he loves to kind of give back some knowledge that he's got, and I think that's one of the keys with Will. You know, he's so passionate about professional wrestling, and obviously you don't reach the level in professional wrestling that Will Ospreay has reached unless you've got a real passion for it, a real hunger and a real desire. And I think that what makes Will so special is the fact that he wants to share that love, he wants to share that passion, he wants to share that desire, and he wants to pass the knowledge on. British wrestling is a funny old thing, you know, the different stages that it's gone through over the years. But Will was able to be one of the first generations of British wrestler that were able to benefit from a very successful era before him of independent professional wrestlers. and not just that, to be able to benefit from the international talents. And I always envisaged it would be something like this, you know, when Will was there working with your Matt Seidels, working with your Okadas and AJ Styles and guys like that. And those guys were passing their knowledge on to Will Ospreay. I always thought it'd be so great if one day Will Ospreay could essentially be that imported talent. Will Ospreay could one day be that veteran in the locker room, so to speak. And that's exactly what he's done. I feel like he feels like he has a responsibility to British professional wrestling and keep watering it at grassroots level. He won't actually be involved with this year's shows. He's doing a lot of stuff with Pro Wrestling Eve, which is the all-women's promotion run by Dan Reed. So he's doing a lot of creative stuff with those guys. So I imagine that's where his focus will be. But like I say, Will's very much a part of the furniture at RevPro, and very often, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if he popped by. But very often he's you know, he's around behind the scenes, even if you don't see him in front of the camera.
You had Tetsuya Naito and Bushi in their first appearances after leaving New Japan. Just how did all that come together and working with them?
Obviously, we've worked with Naito and Bushi for many years now, with our relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think that one thing is the relationships. One of the secrets between good relationships is always doing well by those people you're working with. And when you do that, it cultivates almost long-term relationships. So Bushi and Naito's team just reached out to me, given the fact that we've worked together closely in the past, and they know that I'm kind of a reputable promoter in a world of probably a lot of unreputable promoters, if you can say it. And yeah, and it was as simple as that. Sometimes you know, people want to read a lot into a lot of stuff that goes down, but sometimes the answer is the most obvious one. You know, we'd worked together in the past. They knew they could trust me. They knew they could trust our talent. I think that was probably one of the biggest things as well. Was, you know, our talent is such a high level. It really is. It's some of the best wrestlers in the world. And they know that firsthand from their experiences with Revolution Pro Wrestling, and they knew that, you know, coming to Rev Pro, they'd be looked after, and wouldn't have to worry about anything. And that's exactly what happened. So it was great to be able to see them again, and it was great to be able to give them an opportunity to, you know, once again showcase themselves on an international level.
Is there a match for any new viewers who are checking into Rev Pro that you would recommend is like, this put us on the map, you should see it because it'll make you a fan of what we do, because this is essentially a Rev Pro match?
That's a loaded question, because we've got like 13 years worth of great content. But
that's why I'm doing it, because we got 13 years of matches to go from.
Right. So yeah, start at the start. But like there is so many things. So like, for example, High Stakes 2024 had Will Ospreay's last match with us, which was Michael Oku and Will Ospreay. If you go on the on-demand service, watch the video package before the match, watch the entrances, watch the entire presentation, and I think that's a nice example of a culmination of a story that we present. But I do think as well, like you know, even recently we had Mike Loku against Ricky Knight Jr. That was a fantastic story-driven match, which happened at our Summer Sizzler show recently. Mike Loku and Leon Slater, which we're seeing the next chapter in that story happening this Saturday at the Crystal Palace National Sports Centre. So, you know, and I've named a lot of Mike Loku matches there. He's kind of, I guess, one of the faces of the brand that is Revolution Pro Wrestling. But look, one match as well, another one which I'd definitely say go out your way to watch, is Zosiah versus Leon Slater in a 1-hour Iron Man match, which happened at Uprising 2024 in December of last year. You know, I think it's probably look, I'll say without a doubt, it's the best Iron Man match that's ever happened in independent professional wrestling. But I would go as far as saying it's perhaps the best Iron Man match to ever have taken place. And I know it feels like that's a lot of praise. And it feels like maybe I'm over-egging it. It's my job as a promoter to do that. However, I genuinely feel you watch that match and you watch what those two men achieved on that day, it is something very, very special. That's another match I'd kind of recommend going out your way to see. But like I say, there's so many moments, and again, it's whatever floats your boat really, because again, I feel like there's these matches that I've named are all kind of emotionally fueled, story driven matches. But if you just want, these dream matches, you can look at Chris Hero versus Tomohiro Ishii as an example. The first encounter between Ishii and Keith Lee, I mean, Ishii's been responsible for so many of those huge moments for us. Zack Sabre Jr. and Katsuyori Shibata, Kurt Angle and Zack Sabre Jr. for that surreal moment, just so many of those great moments. Yeah, I guess like I could just provide a laundry list, but it depends what you're looking for in your pro wrestling really. But that's one of the beauties of RevPro, is we try to cater for, it doesn't matter what type of wrestling you're a fan of, we try to cater for every single type of wrestling. So whatever you're into, if you like your technical wrestling, you got your Zack Sabre Jr. classics, you got stuff from wrestlers like Jordan Breaks and so Zaya, who are just great technicians, Connor Mills, guys like that. You got your hard hitting wrestling, just high flying wrestling, spectacular wrestling from the likes of CPF. There's so much for every single style, that all I can recommend is coming to a show, checking us out on demand. And really, I'm not saying you're going to love everything, but what I will say is everything which is on the show is of a very, very high standard, the highest standard you're going to see. And you will find something which will scratch your itch as a professional wrestling fan, no matter what genre, no matter what style of professional wrestling that you love.
As you mentioned, you can watch all these matches on the RevPro On Demand. We've had a couple people in our chat mention RevPro On Demand and kind of the accessibility and the quality with everything. People have kind of said, maybe the quality isn't, I don't know if what they are used to from maybe other streaming platforms, and then to watch a lot of these shows. I know they all are on RevPro On Demand, so kind of a twofold question here. What are your thoughts, or any troubleshooting when it comes to the quality, or have you heard any feedback like that? And then the second part of finding potentially a different platform, whether maybe it's not for live shows, but to put stuff on maybe a different platform.
So basically, I feel like the production question is such a loaded question, because it's something which is levied at us all the time, and I genuinely feel that so first of all, look, to preface this, we're an independent professional wrestling promotion, and I feel due to the level of star we attract, and due to the level of attention we get to our professional wrestling shows, we do get kind of put on a level with promotions which have got huge budgets, right? And ultimately, we do everything in a sustainable way. And sustainability, when you talk about RevPro, means we have to own our own equipment. We can't just hire equipment for every single show. We run 50 plus shows a year, right? And so what we have to do is we have to keep reinvesting in what our product is, and we need to keep investing in the production and all of that stuff. Now, if you go back and you look at Revolution Pro Wrestling, say if you look at it from years ago and you look at it as the years go on, the quality improves drastically. So if you look at the quality of, for example, so an example of us investing is, after High Stakes last year, we invested in new sound equipment, for example, and it's not quite there yet, but obviously the level of the commentary is so much better than it was, right, in terms of hearing the commentators, right, and it coming through clearly. Now, after the anniversary show last year, we invested in new cameras. So if you look at the current shows, the quality of the cameras are so much better than the quality of the cameras from a year ago, right? And we've made another big production upgrade, which hopefully we're going to implement. We tried to implement it at our show yesterday, and it just backfired before we, we were literally about to go live, and it just backfired. So then we had to switch to our old setup, which again, we were still producing good results with. but this Friday and Saturday, we hope to add another element of production. What we've spent a lot of money on to make it happen, right? And the reason we're going before the show instead of investing the money after the show is because I think one of the things that lets us down is again, that with that mindset of always being sustainable, we run the big show and hopefully we generate some revenue from that big show, and we'll use that revenue to reinvest in the production. Now, for this time, we've been speculative and said history dictates that normally we generate some good revenue from our big shows, so we're gonna preemptively invest that money in some high-level production equipment to give you better results when it comes to the big show. So essentially, when we're showing our 13-year anniversary shows, which is, you know, for all intents and purposes, a show which is going to have so many eyeballs on it, we're going to put our best foot forward. So you'll be noticing production improvements there as well, hopefully, providing we can get everything working. So that's just one of those things, as you know, being an independent wrestling company and a sustainable one that's in it for the long term. And I think that all we can judge ourselves against, I'm not interested in judging ourselves against AEW, WWE, you know, like people with like huge budgets like TNA, right? What I'm interested in is judging our production against our production yesterday, right? So always making those steps forward and always improving. Now there are other things that come with it as well. So one of the things is down to the internet connection within the building as well. And we've come up with several workarounds for venues which have very bad internet or no internet, including being able to successfully stream some shows from York Hall, which, you know, if you were to say like a couple of years ago, would be an impossibility to do without bringing in a satellite truck, basically. So we are working on tweaks, and obviously the more we learn the venues, the better we're able to get at doing that. But obviously a venue like Crystal Palace National Sports Centre has got a high-speed internet connection, so there's nothing to worry about from that matter. But what I do say as well is often with these live streams, you know, if we don't get the best quality, but regardless if we do or don't, we put a high-quality version of the stream up within 48 hours of the live event. You know, the way I term it is, in an ideal world, we'd be selling our big events as pay-per-views, but obviously my big thing is to make it as accessible and as affordable as possible. So what we do is we just make all the shows inclusive of your subscription. So if you subscribe, then it is no commitments, no strings attached. You know, you can get a discount if you subscribe for a year, but obviously you can subscribe monthly rolling, and within that subscription, you've got the entire back catalogue, and you have the live events as well, which I look at as somewhat of a bonus. And then on top of that, you then get your, you know, the high quality version of the event goes up within 48 hours of the event as well. So I think is that, you know, like really, and when you consider the level of number of shows we're producing as well, I think it's, you know, a really good deal. Of course, with all things tech, sometimes we suffer. You know, there are times when we got a bit of stick. One show, like the venue had changed their internet and it just didn't work, and they were insistent that it worked. So we had some streaming issues there. There was another show where one of the cables just broke, but we tested everything and we went live, and then just one of the cables broke. So it took us a little while of troubleshooting to kind of go through every single cable to work out which one it was. You know, you go through all the, you know, the order of stuff you think it could be, and then eventually you find what's wrong, and you know, we kind of got it up running, and we got a bit of stick for that, but it was just a case of I always say, and especially in professional wrestling, you have to really work to this. You can only control the controllable, right? And our controlling the controllable in this situation is we make sure we've got spares of everything, so we will get there. You know, it's like you know, when I was smart enough, or I had the foresight enough, that our show yesterday when we bought our new kit was to make sure we still had the old kit, so if it didn't work, we could switch straight back very quickly, and that we were able to do yesterday. So again, it's just the struggles of an independent wrestling company, and a company which is, you know, like I say, trying to do this in a sustainable way. We can't go out of business because this is life for me, and this is life for so many of our wrestlers as well, you know. So we have to do everything we can in a sustainable manner. Look, in an ideal world, if I had a budget, if I had someone chucking money at me, would I spend more money? Yes. Absolutely I would, but we've got to do it the same way we do everything. Everything's got a budget, and we have to do everything step by step by step by step, and ensure that we can continue to grow. And I guess the other part of the question was about kind of accessibility in terms of where you can watch it. We're sticking very much to RevPro on demand at the moment, but we are trying to increase the number of places you can see RevPro on demand. So obviously, as well as RevProOnDemand.com on the internet, the web address, we have now we've got an iOS app, we have an Android app, and we have an Amazon Fire Stick app. We're working very hard to get a Roku app over the line, but we're having a bit of difficulty with that at the moment. But it's just a clerical thing we're having some difficulty with. But hopefully that'll be there soon. And then from there, we'll continue to add more and more places that you can see it. And I genuinely believe you're getting real value for money with kind of what we're doing with this service, and I feel strongly about essentially playing in our own sandbox, in the sense of, again, it's that being sustainable thing. We don't want to put all our eggs in someone else's basket. If something were to happen to that basket, then we're back to square one. So I think it's very important for us at this stage to continue to kind of try and just grow RevPro on demand, because that can really be one of the cornerstones of our promotion. Unless we get one of these crazy content deals, of course, but it'd have to be on the right terms to be able to justify essentially mothballing that service, because it's very good to us.
So we love asking non-wrestling questions on the show too, because we're the morning show that hates talking about wrestling but has to talk about anyway. I'm curious about what are you watching that's not wrestling, and what kind of shows are maybe your fallback or maybe your comfort shows when you're not involved with wrestling stuff?
So a big thing is I love sport, right? So I think that gets me wound up a lot. I watch a lot of football, or soccer as you guys call it. Support Arsenal, so a lot of football, and when Arsenal are winning, I'll consume every single piece of media, be it YouTube shows, podcasts, highlight shows, rewatch matches. But when Arsenal are losing, I'm not a football fan. I transition back to being a wrestling fan, right? And also in live sports like boxing, MMA, but in terms of TV, in terms of kind of TV shows, at the moment I'm watching the new Dexter. Quite like that. I think that's quite clever, the way they keep being able to reimagine this same show over and over again, but do it in a way which is kind of close enough to the original, and keeps all the charm of the original. I think that's kind of nice, and the way they call back old characters and stuff like that. So that's a big one for me at the moment, which I'm kind of watching on that weekly basis. I love a binge watch of TV shows, but currently I guess soap operas. I don't know if do you guys get soap operas in the States?
Of course we do.
Okay, so I love EastEnders, which is classic, a classic British soap opera. And I guess it's kind of real life meets pro wrestling in EastEnders as well. I don't know, but I love EastEnders, and I watch a soap I used to watch as a child, the Australian soap Neighbours, and that's on Amazon Prime.
I've heard of that.
So yeah, and that's basically that's very much a comfort soap. I used to watch it when I was a kid, and then it went away, and it's come back. And now it's going away again at the end of the year. So I'm trying to enjoy it while I've still got it.
Was that someone in the family was watching it, so you picked it up too?
When we were, you didn't really get much choice about what you watched on TV when I was little, because so in the UK we had 4 channels, 1, 2, 3, and 4, very imaginatively named, and then later on you got channel 5, but Neighbours was always on channel 1, and it used to be on twice a day. So it used to be on, I think, 12:30, and then maybe 6:30 after the 6 o'clock news. So it used to be on twice a day. So before you went to school or on sick days, you'd watch it at lunchtime, and then when when you were at school, you'd watch it in the evening. So it really is it was a central part of my childhood, and like I say, you didn't get much choice in what you watched on TV. So yeah, it was other people would watch it in my household, and as a result you would watch it as well, and you would become hooked, because that's what these soap operas are designed to do, aren't they? They're designed to hook you, and that's what happens to me. And that's, I guess, why I'm so attracted to pro wrestling, is because I'm a sucker for a good story. So that's what's happened. But like I say, like that's the main ones I'm watching right now. I think I'm actually struggling to find some good episodic shows. So if there's any suggestions, I'll be more than happy to take them.
I'm rewatching Breaking Bad right
Oh,
now, so
classic.
I mean, yeah, that's not an out of the box suggestion or anything, but it's a rewatch for me.
So, question: have you watched Better Call Saul?
I watched the first couple of seasons of it, and then my life kind of changed, and so I got out of it. So my plan is actually to watch Breaking Bad and then rewatch or actually get through all of Better Call Saul after I'm done with Breaking Bad.
Okay, because I would make the controversial suggestion that Better Call Saul is actually better than Breaking Bad.
A lot of people have said that. I don't know if it's that controversial. Like I've seen a lot of people say that.
I think it's mostly because season 4, midway season through season 3, is when Breaking Bad starts to pick up. It's pretty slow to start. It's not until Walt shaves his head that things start really happening. But other than that, like,
he shaves his head in season 1.
No. I'm talking. The goatee. I'm talking about the goatee, the facial hair, the goatee.
That's there.
So, but I feel Better Call Saul's very, very slow burn, right? But I feel like Better Call Saul. So I love it when something rewards you for being a nerd, basically, right? And I feel that if you're a fan of Breaking Bad, there's so many callbacks to Breaking Bad in Better Call Saul, and in the whole thing, you're just thinking, how is he going to become? How is Jimmy McGill going to become Saul Goodman? You just don't know, and you get so far through the series, and it's like, when's this thing going to happen? And what happens to all the characters that are a part of his life? And I just feel like it's one of those shows that it rewards you for your investment. So that's why I think it's so good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually getting through Better Call Saul, but I had to go back and rewatch Breaking Bad first and foremost. A couple of things. I'm not going to pretend to be a football/soccer fan, but when Arsenal play Fulham, are you messaging Tony and being like, we got you on this one?
Do you know what? Fulham have ruined my season the last couple of years, and they seem to be our bogey team. And I actually saw Tony, like, it was 2 days after Arsenal played Fulham, not last season, the season before last. And yeah, I wasn't very happy with him. We got a draw against Fulham, a match we should have won, and arguably it was a match which was one of those matches which was very pivotal in the title race. So I think that season we only finished 2 points behind Man City, and those 2 points were gone at Fulham. So yeah, not been very pleased with.
Tony's messaging you like, "LOL, you couldn't win."
Right,
look what we did to you guys.
So I guess last time, I saw Tony. Last time we chatted about it. Like, Fulham actually have a lot of last season had a lot of Arsenal players. So and they still do. So there's like Leno, who used to be our goalkeeper. They had Reece Nelson on loan last season, who's rumoured they're trying to sign now. These names mean nothing to you. Emil Smith Rowe, who was like an Arsenal favourite. So Fulham really have had, and Alex Iwobi as well, who's someone who came through the Arsenal ranks. So many of the Fulham players actually came through Arsenal. So at least I can support Tony in supporting the players that came through Arsenal. But I certainly support his wrestling endeavours much more than I do his soccer endeavours. So yeah.
We got a comment here from our longtime viewer Jules, who says, "You convinced me, Andy. I didn't need another subscription, but apparently I do need another one." And then the Android app, she was sold on that. Our commission on this subscription is 50%, so we'll send you a bill for that, for selling a RevPro on demand subscription there.
And my work here is done, so I'll see you later, guys.
We appreciate you joining us, Andy. Let everybody know what you got coming up this weekend and beyond with RevPro.
So by the way, if you do have any more questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. That was a good gag. So yeah, if you have anything else, I'm not cutting this short. I can answer anything you want.
Oh no, we appreciate it. We usually do like 30 minutes with everybody, but we'd love to have you back on anytime. You're more than welcome to join us. This is some people know this, other promoters know this. The link that you have, that is, you can use that anytime you want. You'll come to the show every single time. We're live 10 a.m. to noon Eastern every single weekday. If you click the link that got sent over to you for today's show, you can appear on literally any show you want moving forward.
Oh wow, you'll hate the sight of me by the end of this, but
No, you're more than welcome. You are more than welcome.
yeah.
Someone else
every time I've got a new TV series, every time Arsenal win a match, I just want to come on and gloat. You know, we had some bets going on at the show yesterday, actually, with Arsenal and Man United, and there were some very sad Man United fans who wrestle for my roster, and anyone who knows my roster could maybe figure out who those Man United fans may be, but I don't want to expose a gambling ring which is going on at Revolution Pro Wrestling.
Oh, okay. Hold on. This was a topic. This was a topic of conversation before you came on about gambling on matches and if other promoters do this. So you're mentioning you're gambling on football matches, but theoretically you could look at Ishii against Jay and be like, I know, let me put some money on that one out there.
I would love to. Do you know what? Right. So there's a few things. So I got some intel on WrestleMania, right? And you can bet in the UK. You can bet on WrestleMania.
Yeah.
of course.
I was desperate to put a bet on, and I couldn't find any. Like, obviously they've got their methods down, and there was nowhere that I could put a bet on the things that I knew, unless I lived in a foreign country. And I looked into, can I put a bet on in these foreign countries? And it just wasn't possible. Like, it wasn't a VPN thing, like because if you won, to actually get the money, it could be jumping through hoops. But it would be actually a lot harder to win any real money, because, you know, when it's stuff like wrestling, there's not a lot of the odds are kind of slanted, obviously, in the favor of the house, and the odds aren't ever big enough to really make it worth your while. I did actually read something, like, this is when Vince was in charge of WWE, like years and years ago, that if you just bet on the underdogs consistently for every WWE pay-per-view, ultimately you'd wind up winning for the year. And that's because what would happen is the numbers, obviously the bookkeeper's odds would come out, and then Vince would obviously be so used to changing his mind and seeing it and being like, well, we've got to fool people, you know, and he'd add those curveballs on here, there, and everywhere, and across the year you'd actually wind up making bank. So yeah, so if you want some tips for no, I'm joking. Never bet on pro wrestling. It'd be the most stupid thing in the world. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? That obviously the results may be predetermined, but those results change constantly all the time. So yeah, I would not recommend gambling on professional wrestling, or in general, really. I don't really like gamble. I don't really dabble anymore. But when it's my team and there's people talking smack, you know, I feel like I have to stand up and be counted. So they did me a solid yesterday, the Arsenal defeating Man U. So yeah, good times.
Wrestlers coming out with the boo-boo face because Man U lost, and not because they have to lose their match or anything.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And I was just like, you know, one of them was just lying on the floor, and and he looked like he was in some pain, and I wasn't sure if it was because of the match he'd just been through, or the money that he'd lost earlier that evening. So yeah. But obviously, we shouldn't be advertising stuff like this, and of course, we don't do any of that stuff in RevPro.
No,
this is all theoretical.
Yes.
So yeah.
Nothing else. We are professionals here.
Absolutely. So yeah, back to the plugs, I guess, right?
Yeah, let's get to the plugs.
So revolutionprowrestling.com is the web address, and it's a place to go and see all things RevPro. Again, it's not it's one of those things where, again, it's not a very well maintained website, so don't think you're going to get the works. I think our British heavyweight champion may still be the Great O'Khan, you know, if you go on the champions link. But what it does have is it has an up-to-date events list, and so you can just click on any of the events and it takes you straight to the ticket pages where you can buy all your tickets. It's got links to all our social media, and it's like at RevPro UK on most things. Facebook is just Revolution Pro Wrestling, and Of course, RevProOnDemand.com is a place where if you can't be at the shows live, it's a place to watch it on demand. And what I'll say as well is, look, we are what upsets me the most, and this kind of goes back to the production question. What often we've had in the past is people who pirate our streams, and they pirate the live version of our streams, like a low quality version of a live version of our streams. They'll screen record it, so you're losing more quality there. Then they'll put that version online free of charge for people to kind of look at and critique and say, oh, this is not good quality at all. And that doesn't represent the actual quality of our live stream or the final version of our stream. So that's frustrating when you've got people who aren't even paying for the product who slag it off. As an independent business and as like a, like I say, like a grassroots professional wrestling promotion, every subscription matters to us. And I always use the terminology when I say one fan at a time. So, I'll come and talk to you guys about, what happened in EastEnders this week. Maybe you can become a British soap specialist podcast. Maybe that can be your niche moving forward. I don't know. But I'll come on and I'll talk about whatever, and I'll answer any questions. I'm an open book, so it doesn't matter how tough a question, I'll always answer. And because I genuinely feel that if you're seeing an authentic version of myself, and you're seeing exactly the passion that is going into Revolution Pro Wrestling, you'll be more inclined to come and support the product, and be that buying a piece of merchandise, be that subscribing to RevPro On Demand, or be that coming to a live show, or if you can't afford it, just giving us a follow on social media or telling your friends about us. This is what it is. It's organic growth. And we've been doing this organic growth thing slowly for 13 years, and it's starting to pick up pace. Of course, we've had our ups and our downs. We've had to rebound from all kinds of stuff, including the world shutting down. But, our challenges are no different from anyone else's. And we are determined and stubborn, and we love professional wrestling. So if you can support RevPro in any way, shape or form, then please consider doing so. And look, I'm not naive enough to think that pirate versions of our shows don't get around. But if you watch it illegally and you enjoy it, then please just give us a subscribe. It will support us, and it will enable us to keep doing what we do, and it will enable us to up the quality of what we're doing much quicker. It will enable us to run bigger events, more events, invest more money, because basically everything that comes through the door is reinvested in Revolution Pro Wrestling, the growth of RevPro, and the development of young and exciting talent. And also it offers wrestling fans around the UK and around Europe now, where we've gone out to the likes of Barcelona and Berlin, and we're coming to Lyon, France at the end of this year, or towards the end of this year. And it's enabling all these fans to see this wrestling up close and personal, in an intimate environment, seeing the best wrestlers in the world. And that's my mission statement. That's what I want to do. And I thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to kind of spread the good word, so to speak, and talk about that awful gambling habit of mine.
You're welcome back anytime. We got to get you watching some trash reality television. You watch some like Love Is Blind and everything.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, so I cut my teeth with, in the UK, we've got a show called The Only Way Is Essex. Fantastic reality TV show. It's like, I'm not sure if it holds up now. I stopped watching it a long time ago. I had to grow up at some point, but trash reality TV, it's a bit of me. I used to love Big Brother back in the day.
Okay.
Used to love that.
I used to.
So I know you guys have Jersey Shore. We used to have Geordie Shore, which followed people from Newcastle, which is basically where Pac's from. Just lots of muscle-bound teenagers, basically. Just I don't know what they put in the water in Newcastle, but yeah, Geordie Shore and Jersey Shore, very similar. But yeah, I trust me. If it's kind of some form of addictive TV, then I'm all about it. And like I say, I'm a sucker for this TV, and it's what made me a sucker for pro wrestling, because it's all those elements, isn't it? That pro wrestling is draw a fan in. And reality TV very much drew from every single aspect of that as well, including the fighting. So, yeah, I love it.
We appreciate it, Andy. Again, welcome back anytime. You got the link. Pop on. Whether Monday through Friday, we are here. And good luck with everything this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Much appreciated. And we'll speak
Thank
to you
you
very soon. Cheers,
One and
guys.
only. Andy, thank you so much. Who's going to give him? I'm going to do it. Yeah, do it. Actually, and then he just left altogether.
Yeah, I think he just left.
All right, we all won. What a great chat, man. Shout out to Andy. Shout out to RevPro. Go check out the 13th anniversary show. It's this weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, 22nd and 23rd of August, Crystal Palace National Event Center and National Sports Center, I should say. Tickets are still available, so if you can go. If you want to watch it on RevPro on demand, go to the website, go to RevPro, and just sign up, subscribe. Don't steal it. Don't steal the show. Let the wrestlers steal the show, not you.
Well, I hope I asked your super chat question I tried to do it. I don't want to say more professional, because God forbid we do that on this show. But I didn't want to, kind of feel like I was attacking him with a quality question there. But I wanted to make sure I still got your question in some type of way out there. But hopefully it was good enough.
Andy and you talking about MILF Manor.
Oh, could you imagine?
I don't want to.
That'd be great. He's gonna show up when SP3 is around, and then we're really gonna get off the rails.
Yes, they must know each other. I mean, SP3's been to RevPro shows. They must have each other. They must be on a radar, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
I figure most like UK wrestling media know most of the people who are behind UK wrestling. It's a small world, Jeremy. Everybody knows each other. Oh, what's up, legend? What's your Nando's order? Should have asked that. That'll be the next time he shows up.
I feel like he's gonna show up for sometime this week. I feel like Andy's just gonna pop on here.
This is just like when Joe from FSW did the same thing at WrestleMania week. He's like, I'm gonna come on all the time. I'm like, you'll forget. You give it some time, you'll forget.
We appreciate that when people
absolutely
show up and hang out with us. All right, I'm glad. It wasn't even about like throwing you under the bus, Volib. It was just more like I wanted to ask it in just kind of a different way.
You want to frame it differently.
Yeah, I wanted to frame it differently.
While still giving credence to what Volib was saying, his experience of the quality of the stream not being as great as it could have been. And I'm glad that Andy got into the explanation, and it's true, venue to venue, some have better internet connection than others. Some you have to kind of jimmy and put together different kinds of solutions. So I'm glad that at least they're aware of it and they are taking steps to make it better. It sounds like, again, this is a company, you don't get 13 years by doing things half-ass. You do it with the hard work and reinvesting the money you make into the important things that are needed to make the adjustments necessary to get bigger and better. So I'm glad he addressed it, and he did it very well. It was a good answer.
Yeah.
Should talk about Collision?
I really love the four-way, the technical spectacle, as they were calling it.
They were wearing their technical spectacles.
Yeah, I thought that was a really great match, and no surprise that Nigel won, and maybe Daniel Garcia is going for a heel turn. We shall see, but I thought that was a great match, and I'm looking forward to Nigel and Zach this weekend.
I like that they turned Daniel Garcia's situation into a bigger story for this match. I like that Nigel and ZSJ was always a match that people wanted to see, that we wanted to see, that Nigel and Zach wanted to have, and to add Danny in there is kind of a value added in this case. You're telling more story and more character for Daniel Garcia. He's frustrated. He's annoyed. Nigel's being like, hey, come and be in my corner at Forbidden Door, kind of adds to that. I don't know if they're going to necessarily pull the trigger on the Danny Garcia heel turn right there. It feels like you can capitalize, but it feels like it's one of those we might slow burn it or just tease it again for a couple more weeks. That's just kind of where I'm at. And then do it on, honestly, they might just do it on Collision.
I don't know. Garcia might throw in the towel or something for Nigel.
Yeah.
That's
a good idea.
That could happen. He's like, I didn't want you to get hurt, old man, type of thing. So I could 100% see that happening this weekend. Is Garcia just does if Daniel Garcia comes out with a towel around his neck. I know he used to do that, right?
Yeah,
Maybe he still does. I don't know. I don't pay enough
He
attention.
did it. He did it until Taz got upset at him.
If he comes out with a towel around his neck, he's 100% throwing the towel in for him.
They did it was kind of awkward though, the way they got to the Nigel asking for Danny to join him in the ring or join him at his side for Forbidden Door. It was just from a production point of view, whoever cut that segment together for TV, it was very awkward. They didn't take account the sound. So the crowd had kind of gone silent when Nigel was asking him. So you can tell like suddenly there's chatter and then it's gone. And so that was a little jarring in my ears as I was listening to it, but like it got the point across. That's just one of those things where like, if I'm going to nitpick anything about production, it's just the cuts were really awkward. They were just trying to make time for the end of the show. It probably went longer live. And then they were like, we got to cut it down to 2 hours for the actual presentation on TNT. That was fine.
They should have, they're doing the match, Nigel and Zach, and then Nigel's in some hold, but he refuses to submit. And Garcia like doesn't have a towel, so he has to go over to Taz like, "Where's your towel? Where's your towel from the 1990s? I need it right now." And Taz like, "What? Tal Jones over here? What are you talking about?" And then he just throws Taz in the ring as a way to show that he's submitting for Nigel. Taz represents the towel. I think that would get over big.
Yeah, I think that's the right one right there. Taz gets thrown in. Give me your glasses. I'm gonna wear your glasses. I'm gonna throw you in. No. That's the way it should be. Taz gets thrown in. Oh, God. Otherwise, Harley Cameron makes her official return, and she's a cat now.
Yeah.
She's a cat. Yeah. Everyone talking about the quick little interaction with Moxley on camera. I'm actually more concerned about what was she holding when she came to the ring. I thought they were nunchucks at first, but then I looked closely and it looked like she jimmied together the headstock of a guitar and put a chain around it. And it also looked like the bathroom key that you get from a restaurant when all the restaurant bathrooms are locked and you have to get the key from the front, and they usually like put it on a ruler or something cheeky. Looks like she had one of those. It was very strange, but it was very funny.
It's a cat toy, isn't it?
Is it a cat toy?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. I can't tell what it was.
I thought that's what it was.
When we have Harley Cameron on the show. Yeah, it was a weird weapon. It was a very Harley Cameron weapon. And if they don't explain what it is before we get a chance to, that'll be the big question. What the hell is that?
They don't need to explain it. And she could just use it on somebody.
Yeah, but it looks like the headstock of a guitar with a chain wrapped around it. That just means nothing.
That's fine.
Either way, she's back. Her and Chris Stat are apparently friends, and that's funny. And Moxley had a little like, the hell is this thing? Thought that was very cute. And by the end of it, so Moxley approaches Chris Stat along with Wheeler Yuta in the background, and they do their little nodding in approval, and Wheeler says he's proud. And then as they walk away, you've got Harley Cameron again, turns to Renee and says, does any of this bother you? And Renee's just like, yeah, a little bit. It was very, very funny. She keeps having these little things that are so low in the mix that you have to point them out. There was something with the license plates a couple of weeks ago where someone, I think it was Tony Storm, saying that the license plates read something in Virginia or wherever they were. Maybe it was still in Chicago. And anyway, you had afterwards Renee being like, I don't think that's what the license plates say. As they're kind of cutting back to the live show. Little stuff like that always pops in me, but it's good to see that Harley Cameron's back and integrating herself immediately into the show.
Harley Cameron rules, and whatever she does is going to be fantastic.
What will Stat do with $100,000?
I need whatever they're doing with Stat to like actually
materialize,
produce something.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like the Moxley stuff happened like 2 months ago, and we haven't gotten anything with that. Like, is she gonna turn at Blood and Guts? Is she gonna just stay babyface at Blood and Guts? Like, what are we doing here?
It feels like she'll be the what if they do a big multi-woman match, whether it's Blood and Guts or Anarchy in the Arena. She'll be like that one person that's everyone's gonna be, will they or won't they? And then that'll be hopefully the solidification of what she's supposed to be in terms of heel or babyface. Yeah, and not have it be like she beats up Willow and then we're back to that again, because it feels we can move on from Statlander and Willow. I promise we'll be okay. Everyone will survive and move on.
I don't know if we will be okay, because that's the only thing they know how to book with that is Stat and Mercedes and Stat and Willow.
The soon there'll be the square of madness. Statlander should join the Spooky Girls. That's what I'm saying. Call them the Coven.
The Coven.
Big
They already
TNA
have a
vibes.
group.
That will, I mean, not anymore because one of them doesn't wrestle and the other one's still out injured.
Oh, fair.
Shout out Kylan King. I hope she comes back soon. But yeah, see what happens there. Yeah, the rest of the show was, I mean, Ace Austin had his debut. We knew about that. He's signed. He's all elite, as they say. They obviously weren't going to show the Tony Khan coming out and offering him a deal. That's usually kind of a live crowd specialty. They don't like to do that. One thing I found interesting was that commentary immediately called him former member of the Bullet Club. It was never really established in TNA, at least that I remember, that he or Chris Bay had officially left. So I guess this is he's out. This is it. Commentary said it, so he is no longer a Bullet Club member, Ace Austin.
Well, until he gets part of the
Re-signed.
Bang Bang gang that everybody, wants to put him in.
What if he joins House of Torture?
House of Torture's not in AEW, so
No, but
makes a lot
next
of sense.
you got this week is Forbidden Door. Ace Austin can make himself known as a House of Torture member.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
What if Ace and Jack Perry team up? House of Torture members Jack Perry and Ace Austin. Jack Perry is House of
Perry's a
Torture
solo.
adjacent.
Jack Perry's a solo star. He doesn't need to team it up with Ace
Someone's
Austin.
got to drive the bus.
No.
People don't see it like I do. You always see Bang Bang Gang. Oh, Ace Austin and the Bang Bang. No one wants that. Don't listen to the internet.
I said that everyone just seems to have that idea. It's like, that's not an original idea. Come on now.
Yeah, we're trying to put him somewhere better. The matriarchy, again, because he needs to go with a mother. If there's one thing Ace Austin does best, it's go after moms.
Yeah. Nick
I know
Wayne
what-
and Ace Austin feud would be pretty good.
I actually might enjoy that. That's true. Shout out to Kip Sabian getting himself on the card this weekend, too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well deserved. When he had his interview with us way back when, he wanted to be on the card at All In, but when they were in London. I mean, that didn't happen. So now he's getting a chance to work in London this time for Forbidden Door. I'm happy about that. And he gets to work with Cope and Christian, which I'm sure for him is a pretty good feeling. Listen, he's not you. He's got to be happy to at least be working with some guys who have been around the business for, 25 plus years. Especially
it's cool to work with. I assume people he grew up watching and everything. Like that's all good. Good on Kip Sabian. We like Kip Sabian.
But yes, Ace is in. He's the guy. Gets beat in his first match because that's what happens. And Ricochet and Ace had a good match. I was happy with that. And then GOA just beat the shit out of them, as is tradition.
Yeah.
That's fine. Anything else from the show that really caught your eye from Collision? Kyle Fletcher being like, Don Callis, I miss you, I love you. I can't wait till you get back and we make you proud again, baby. Please come back. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. Oh, by the way, I'll beat you, Hiromu Takahashi.
Yeah, that was the thing that happened.
Wasn't really much to it. The show was fine. Like, that was the whole thing with Collision was like, it was a well-wrestled show. You had a couple of beats, but other than that, it was just kind of matches for matches' sake. Mina's back. That was the opening of the show. You had Tony Storm come out, cut a promo, gets interrupted by Athena and Billy Starks. They do the beat down. Mina's back. Again, it's absolutely hilarious that the ROH interim women's TV champion is getting the title shot against the ROH women's champion at the next show. But here we are. We're back to Mina and Tony being best lovers again. And Alex Winza is going to go deal with Mercedes Moné. This was the tag match they were waiting to do because Mina and Tony.
Tony Storm doing the milk lemonade.
I
Ryan.
saw that shit coming so far.
Like, Tony Storm's just so hilarious. Just
It was
so
very
good.
funny.
Yeah, so good. Hey, good to see Mina back, even though if you watched ROH, like, you kind of knew she was back, type of thing. But nobody watches ROH, so it doesn't really matter. I'm looking forward to the tag team match. I know that's not Mina, that's Winza this weekend or this Wednesday with Athena and Mercedes against Tony and Winza. That'll be good. And yeah, good that Mina is back. We'll see if she gets involved. I don't think she's really going to get involved on the show this week. Like, it feels like Tony's going to win. I'm talking myself into Athena winning.
The world title?
Yeah.
I don't think
What
so.
other title is she going for?
That's true. Athena? The world title? The women's world title? No, I just no. I don't think so.
All right.
I would be surprised.
So here's my argument for Athena. It's not a great argument. I can concede that.
By the way, this is the Megan Bain conversation all again.
No, because you don't know what my argument is.
Well, no, I mean the people trying to talk themselves into Tony Storm winning. Go ahead.
Okay, but my argument has nothing to do with Megan Bain or this is why Tony should lose or anything like that. My argument actually has to do with the Casino Gauntlet. And if you are doing they're doing both the Casino Gauntlet matches here, you're risking doing 3 failed Casino Gauntlet winners. Because Christian didn't win. Now Athena loses. Now MJF loses.
Does MJF lose?
I think MJF loses more than Tony Storm losing. I mean, look, maybe they go with MJF, but cutting Hangman's reign after a month, that's not gonna sit well with people.
By the way, why can't everyone fail? All they did was win a match.
Sure.
All they did was win a title shot. It doesn't. If anything, they jumped the line, so they should be seen as failures. And they're cashing it in. I hate using cashing it because it's a Money in the Bank thing. They're executing the contracts, as AEW is calling them. At the same time, that's kind of, you could have spaced them out better. But like, I don't see them losing as like this vision of the contracts are useless or the Casino Gauntlet is useless. I think it's more just that they didn't win.
No,
they went right to the cash-ins.
Well, them doing it back to, or both contracts on this show, it was always weird to me. I don't think that, everybody's going to be like, oh, it's meaningless now because you've had 3 straight failures. But it does say something that you would have 3 failures out of 3. Like, the winners would be 0 for 3. It's supposed to be this big thing at All In, and nobody has won. The fact that they muddied it up this year with when do you execute the contract, and then they both just did it at Forbidden Door, is kind of, it was weird. And I don't know if that was the original plan or if stuff fell through, and so this is what they just decided to go with. But I do think it is, again, just weird. It's not that they can't do it, but it is just weird that, all right, we're going to go 0 for 3 on Casino Gauntlet winners. You want to try to tout that winning the Casino Gauntlet gets you much closer to a title shot than just you get it at the next pay-per-view. If they just did it where you get it at the next pay-per-view, I'd have far less commentary on this, honestly. But because it is, you execute the contract, then it feels like it should be a bigger deal, and you should have like somebody winning this thing.
So worth noting, I'm looking on Wikipedia. This will be 19 and 20 in terms of execution of Casino Gauntlet winners and getting a match. Do you know? So for 18 of these,
okay.
Do you know how many have come out as victors?
I don't think it's a lot, honestly.
4.
All right. Here's the difference and what I'm trying to explain. The other ones were you get your title shot at this set date. These are all you can execute and get your title shot whenever you want. Again, I'd have far less of an issue with this if they won it All In, and at All In they said they get a title shot at Forbidden Door. Because then it would just be like any other Casino Gauntlet. And fine. The Casino Gauntlet has not produced too many champions off of it. But it's not It is a contract execution where you can get it whenever you want. Christian came in the middle of a match. Athena didn't have to do Forbidden Door. MJF didn't want to do Forbidden Door, and he got goaded into it. I think it's weird that both of them are doing it at Forbidden Door. It feels, again, like something fell through, or they didn't properly plan things out and they just decided to do them both at Forbidden Door. That's my argument, is not the Casino Gauntlet winners are failing. It is the All-In Casino Gauntlet winners are failing when they have a shot whenever they want.
I think they do the Casino Gauntlet enough times, regardless of when the show is, that it doesn't really matter. And again, seeing that it's 4, Hangman Adam Page, by the way, MJF, Will Ospreay, Tony Storm. Those are the 4 people who have actually won their Casino Gauntlet victories. I understand where you're coming from. Like, it was a big show that they won them on, therefore you want to make it feel like a big deal that they cash in or execute the contract at the shows that they're pretending on.
It's a big deal because, yeah, you're supposed to win this and you can execute the contract. Not a big deal to win the Casino Gauntlet. It has less to do with the match and more to do with the prize. You're saying the prize isn't as big of a deal. And then, in turn, that makes the match and the stakes of the match at that particular event, that makes it less of a big deal. And I don't think you want that. Like, you want it to be... Look, I think the Money in the Bank concept has completely run its course. Don't get me wrong. But they've at least made it to where, hey, if you get this thing, you're 90% chance gonna be a world champion. It's a big deal.
I don't think they want to turn that into a trope in AEW either, though. And that's where they have to figure out what the Casino Gauntlet means and what winning the Casino Gauntlet is, like what the importance is. Because if it's a means to get to a world title or whatever title you're going for, then you have to be willing to know the casino part of the gauntlet doesn't end there. You can still lose after you win this match. And therefore it's not as important as the Money in the Bank, where the Money in the Bank is like this almost guaranteed, because they've set that precedent to WWE. With the Casino Gauntlet match, they haven't set any precedent at all.
Yeah. Right now they're setting the precedent that everybody fails.
That's fine. That should be it, because that is what the casino is about. If you go to Vegas or you go to any casino, you're probably not going to win. But once in a while, you'll win big, and you then want to turn it into other people wanting the match. Now I understand where you're coming from, but that doesn't mean that if both of these people fail, Athena and MJF, if they fail in their attempts at cashing in, that does. I mean, first of all, they'll do the match whenever. Tony will do it like at any event randomly and just be like, Casino Gauntlet match, and this is it. We saw this. There were weeks where it was just like a Casino Gauntlet every other week, it felt like. If you do that again, you can rebuild the goodwill or whatever of the Casino Gauntlet and what it can mean. The idea being is that you're building a number one contender based on this match. You're not building a justified winner based out of this match.
But this is the point of just having the contract execution. You talk about the casino, and sometimes you go to the casino and you fail. I'm fine if, like, the Casino Gauntlet winner, as you said, there's been 18, 19, and only 4 have won. Okay, they earned their title shots and they lost. It'd be the same thing as you won a number one contenders match and you lost. How many times have a number one contender lost a title match after earning the title? Whether they won a tournament, whether they won a 4-way, whatever it might be. This contract is supposed to represent a leg up on the house. And fail. This is like going to the casino and you're playing 21 and you've hit on 21. You have 21. Just stay. So why are you hitting?
This is where the conversation turns into who should be winning the Casino Gauntlet match. Because at that point, if you're trying to make a star or give an opportunity to someone who hasn't shown that they are world championship level opponents, then you need to start giving your Casino Gauntlet to the undercard and have them win and go for the world title and have their opportunities. And then one's going to hit, and that's going to be like, oh my God, they did it. But because it's MJF and it's Athena, they're 2 big stars. They're 2 world champions in their own right. Them having it is just kind of like, well, it's a storyline progression, and it's not necessarily the best storyline progression, especially because they're doing it at the same time.
I think what they need to figure out is what this contract is actually going to be. That's the real issue here, is they don't know what this contract is. For Christian, it was cash in at any time. For Athena and MJF, it was like MJF just said, he didn't sign the contract though. Big deal that he said, I'll execute the contract. Like, shouldn't you have to sign it? Athena signed it.
So do you think maybe there's a world where MJF tries to play, asshole and just like, you made the match, Tony, but I never signed the contract, so technically I still have it?
I think that would be smart.
Okay.
Honestly,
I don't hate it because it's an MJF's character to play that game and be like, technically I never signed it away. So I can see something like that being the case.
Yeah, I think that would be smart to try to make a little bit more sense of the contract situation and doing this match so quickly and doing it on the same show that you were doing the women's world title match. I would be fine with that. It's of MJF's character to do that as well.
Because I'm going to get into the semantics here. No, there have not been 18 Casino Gauntlet match. There have been 18 uses of the Casino match in some way, shape, or form to guarantee a title shot. The Gauntlet is one thing. The matches are the other. So no, there have not been.
So like casino ladder matches.
Exactly, where they're still using
casino battle royals.
They're still using a grouping of people to find a world title contender or a contender for a title. But that was the whole point. It's the idea of because they're using casino for all of these like out of nowhere opportunities. That's what they've done. They've done 18 of those, 20 if you're counting Athena and MJF, but those haven't happened yet.
Okay.
The idea is still casino based.
My issue again is not that they get a title shot and they lose. It is the point of the all-in one is supposed to be different and supposed to be special. If all-in was just you get your title shot at Forbidden Door, it's like, all right, fine. You just won your number one contender. But it's supposed to be you get this contract to get a title shot anytime you want. And both of them are burning it in a month instead of using it a little bit more or holding on to it to ensure that they become the world champion. Like, it's also an issue when it's 3 heels who have won this thing, and this is what they're doing. Christian failed. MJF and Athena may or may not fail, but they both cashed in or executed the contract beforehand instead of like, this is a babyface move. I understand the way they got there was for MJF. It made sense. For Athena, kind of a babyface-ish move for Athena. But like, heels should just be smarter when it comes to having this in their possession, and they're not.
I see Piledriver in the chat, by the way, talking about like it's not cutting in line. Sorry, it is a matter of cutting in line and not getting the upper hand. Technically, winning the match is that cutting in line. It's when they brought in the cash-in idea or the execution of the contract that things kind of muddied it up. And like you said, it's been 3 heels who have done it this way, and they need to find a way to bring back the Casino Gauntlet as you win, you get this opportunity at this date. Because if you do the cash-in, executing the contract, whatever you want to call it, is a little, it doesn't work the same way. It doesn't hit the same way. I would much rather they not do the Money in the Bank style and instead keep doing this. As you want to jump the line to be the number 1 contender, you win this match and you get the title shot at this date, because that's what it's supposed to be. The idea of the Casino Gauntlet or the casino matches were always set time, set date. This is your opportunity. And it was the undercard that would do it. And that's why I'm saying it needs to be the under and the mid card, whatever, not the super duper main event like the MJFs, like Athena, you can argue is not main event.
Ospreay is one Casino Gauntlet. Like,
well, that's the other thing. I don't necessarily love that Ospreay did it either. Ospreay was like the first time was cute, and then they suddenly did it 3 times, and it was like, all right, we're setting a precedence here, and we don't need to set it. It should be the undercard. Like, looking at other winners of these casinos type matches, it to me made a little more sense to do it that way.
But not all of them got. But not all of them got world title shots. Some of them were
some of them were TNT. Some of them, I fully understand. Some of them were TNT. Some of them were international championship. Some of them were tag titles. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm aware. That's why I'm talking about the casino match in total, not the Casino Gauntlet match because they still produce the same quality of this conversation or the same quality of challenge. It's about jumping the line.
Yes, for the other ones.
I know, and it should stick to that. It should stick to jumping the line. It shouldn't stick to cashing in, because then you're becoming Money in the Bank again. And you've already said, so Christian Cage was too long and people were over it. Athena and MJF, they got it right out of the way because they didn't want to wait for people to think they were holding it for too long, because then it was going to feel like they had Money in the Bank again. This is why they got to not rely on the executing the contract, because there won't be a right time. As long as there is the Money in the Bank in existence in the WWE realm, there are going to be a swath of fans who are AEW fans who say, don't do it like this. It doesn't work, and it's not the way that you should be doing this. That's the way it goes. You're not going to make everyone happy. Do it better. Whatever that is, you got to do it better. But doing it, I agree with you, by the way. 1 month in, and both winners are challenging for their respective world titles that they won opportunities for. I understand there's a story there. One was goaded into it. The other one was like, I'm going to bide my time, but then she didn't. Like, they're telling different stories. No one's questioning that. It was just that they both had to align at the same time to do the same show. That felt a little like, all right, damn, we're just going to get rid of the timing thing.
Yeah, MJF should try to be like, I didn't sign the contract. So
yeah, I hope he does. I would be fine with that story beats.
Yeah. And then he loses, but then cashes in.
And then he gets his way, because that's what he basically said he was going to do. He always said he was going to get his opportunity, and then he was going to win whatever. Like he always had it making it feel like he was going to get an opportunity and then immediately cash in after he loses or doesn't get the first one.
He's going to lose to Hangman Page, and then the Hurt Syndicate's going to come out and beat up Hangman, and then MJF's going to cash in, and it was a ruse all along.
It was all a bit, brother. And then Karrion Kross is going to come out. And then it was a big bit and a ruse. And then Jack Perry's going to come out. Louis V says, Jack Perry, where are you? Jaculate?
If they bring out Karrion Kross, they might have a lot of upset fans.
You know what else makes fans upset?
I don't want to hit a sore spot, but can we talk about herpes? Herpes, herpes, banana, fana, full herpes, herpes. Oh! Anybody here have herpes? Huh?
Got anything to plug before we get on out of here? Or do you have anything to add to this conversation?
I don't have anything to add about herpes.
I was going to say not about herpes. Oh, we go in as we go out.
Raw?
Oh, yeah, I guess Raw is tonight, isn't it? Live from I don't even know where.
They're in Philly. Wells Fargo is the Phillies, not the Phillies, but the Sixers arena.
Sure.
Maybe Paul George will be there again. He'll get booed again. That was funny last time.
Hey, where's the Philly street fight?
In Philly, you big dumb bitch.
Raw will hear from the Vision. That is what they are officially calling that group.
Seth Rollins gonna be like, ah ha 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 ha.
Because it's all leading to the main event. Because the main event tonight is Jey Uso going to war against Braun Breaker.
You guys know my edict. If this ends in a DQ,
I have a new thumbnail to make that says another DQ.
I will not be reviewing Raw tomorrow. SP3 is still welcome to talk about Raw. I will provide you with Oklahoma City Thunder statistics, some type of stats.
Will you be updating fans about the winning of the G1 being evil?
We will talk about the G1 tomorrow, SB3 and I.
Yes. I know Evil winning the G1 made a lot of people happy. On this show, Evil won the G1.
Yeah, it didn't actually happen. It would have been nice if it happened, but it didn't, unfortunately.
Are you trying to say that we have to storm the New Japan Pro Wrestling offices?
Maybe.
Penta goes head-to-head with his Xavier Woods.
That'd be fun.
Io Sky looks to redeem herself against Raquel Rodriguez. Don't know why she'd have to redeem herself, but that is a thing that they wrote.
She lost to Roxanne last week, so
I guess.
Yeah, she has to redeem herself because she was gonna face for the title, and instead she just lost to Roxanne. So that makes sense.
And Becky Lynch versus Natalya for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We're getting Natalya. We're not getting Natty, even though Becky Lynch wants Natty. the low-key legend.
Yeah, Natalia was like, "You don't dictate who I am," which basically is like,
You
they
be
won't
the
let
man.
me be Natty, so I gotta be Natalia.
Did you throw on a bitch at the end of that?
No, she said fuck though. She says you don't get to dictate who the fuck I am, Rebecca. Again, so basically saying like, I can't be Natty. Sorry. You want me to be Natty, but you don't get to decide that, and neither do I. WWE decides that, and they've decided that I have to be Natalia for this match.
We're 3 steps away from Natty wrestling a physical pencil on TV again. Because there's one thing the Hart family knows very well. It's that story. And of course, Naomi will address the WWE Universe. We will find out what's next for Naomi and what's going on. The copy from WWE.com reads, after not being medically cleared to compete last week in her title match against Io Sky, Women's World Champion Naomi will address the WWE Universe. What will the explosive title holder have to say when she returns to Raw? Find out this Monday, blah, blah, blah.
Why is she an explosive title holder?
Because you got to proceed with caution. Otherwise, something blows up, I guess.
I guess so.
That's the first thing I thought of. I was just like, what is proceed with caution and blowing up? What is it? She's not the dynamite superstar. What is this?
Hopefully things are good with Naomi. And if she announces anything, hopefully it's good news and not bad news. And well, we shall see. Yep.
And if there's a DQ tomorrow, we won't be talking about it. But if there's important news, it will be touched upon, along with plenty more. Jeremy and SB3 are back here 10 a.m. Eastern to talk about this and much more. Do you have anything to add?
No.
Good. Leave a thumbs up on the video on your way out. And tell your friends about the show, would you? For him, you know me, ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.